Yesterday we had some fun. We did a Bigfoot show. I've been promising one for a while. I've had so many folders set aside with stories connecting to Sasquatch. I thought it'd be kind of fun. So I appreciate you if you joined or if you've watched later. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I told you that I wanted to do something like that because even I needed to take a break. You know, I'm in this stuff every single day. I notice all these trends. I have a new video I'm working on. It's been a real heavy one. It'll be up probably Monday or Tuesday. Just connecting things, man. But, a storm is coming. Just like the footage on the screen. What's changed is that we see it now. For many years, myself and others out there have been warning anyone they could that there was a storm coming. But now, just turn on the news, looking at some of the stories we see. More and more, over the last few years especially, this acceleration in madness and chaos, it's pretty obvious that the storm is getting closer. And that storm is going to be that perfect system of a one world order, one world religion, government, monetary system, leader. You know the routine. And now we're seeing all of that in our news, especially over the last, 2020 has been nuts. Really, all of 2020, we're seeing more and more of all of this fall into place. And we see that week to week here on this show. So welcome. If you're new around here, give it a chance. Keep an open mind. And you'll see for yourself. Take a look at some of the things we find. So there you go, guys. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Big shout out to those who've chosen to support my work on Patreon and PayPal. Much appreciation. And a big thank you to the moderators as well. All right, guys, we have a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and get started. First story up. This is one of those mysterious celebrity deaths. Or is it a death? I don't think they found her body yet. Glee star Naya Rivera shared a chilling message days before disappearance. This whole situation's kind of weird if you haven't heard about this yet. Glee actress shared a chilling message with fans days before she vanished while boating, telling them tomorrow is not promised. Now, of course, I had to add this because there's your 33. And so when I see this and the fact that she was well known for Glee, which was a Ryan Murphy production, that's the same guy that does American Horror Story. And if ever there was a Hollywood Luciferian, there's your man. There's your man. I've included a lot of bits on him throughout the years in my videos. So he understands the power of the 33. I don't know if he's directly related to anything in this, but I did think it's interesting once again that one of the actresses from one of his series has a mysterious disappearance or death at the age of 33. So the 33-year-old's haunting words were posted just 5 days before authorities launched a search for the actress over a boating incident in Lake Piru, California. Rivera wrote, "No matter the year, circumstance, or strifes, every day you're alive is a blessing. Make the most of today, and every day you're given. Tomorrow is not promised." And I guess she wrote that the day she disappeared. Rivera is presumed dead after she rented the pontoon boat around 1 p.m. Wednesday with her 4-year-old son. According to Ventura County Sheriff's Office, the boy was discovered sleeping on the boat, but Rivera was nowhere to be found, and her life jacket had been left behind. We're going on the belief that she did go in the water, and we have not been able to locate her, Bouchow said during a news conference. So this may well be a case of drowning, they're saying. Well, who knows? We shall see. It's one of those we need to keep our eyes on. We'll see what pops out of that one. Strange circumstance, though, isn't it? She goes out in the boat with her 4-year-old kid, and then later he's discovered sleeping in the boat, doesn't know what happened to his mom, and she's nowhere to be seen. Okay, this one is a really, really good one here, really good catch. Let's see here. She made a Facebook post kind of explaining what was going on. She says, "Me and the kids saw some kind of creature at the edge of a field stalking a group of deer today, right before sunset. She said it was moving its head and its ears. It's not a tree stump. We only captured the attention a few times where it turned and looked directly at us. She said you can see its head turn and look at us, and then would immediately turn back to watching the deer. It wasn't concerned with us at all. It was completely fixated on the deer. Do you remember there was another video that came out about a year ago? I think it was in Canada, of a moose on the side of the road, and there was a creature kind of doing the same thing, real close to the deer, stalking it, looking at it, and it looked like one of those white skinless, some people call them skinwalkers, some people call it the rake. Maybe it's a new crypto, maybe it's just a new form the demons are taking, since there's so many demons coming into this realm now. I don't know, but I remember that. It reminds me of that story. It says you can clearly see its ears and eye, the shape of its head, long arms in the front, and what looks like a mane around its neck where the hair is longer, thicker. It doesn't look like a bear to me, and there aren't any cougars around this area. She said it was east from Chicago Lake, Minnesota, where a friend of ours had a pretty terrifying encounter some years back with a creature that walked on two legs, bent backwards, in quotes, and ran across the road right in front of her eyes. She's so traumatized by the experience, she won't even talk about it anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. So, yeah, this thing's really weird looking, man, and it's a few minutes, so check this out. This lady and her kids spotted this thing on the edge of their yard. There's some close-ups here in a little bit we'll get into. And what do you think this could be? Look at that.
Arms in the front and what looks like a mane. A friend of ours had a pretty terrifying encounter some years back. It's like a gargoyle to me, while others are claiming it could be a...
It looks like an owl.
What is that?
I think we just turned and looked at us.
I seen its ear flick.
Oh,
Oh my god! There's just legs and perked its ears up.
wait, where is it? Oh, I see it.
Do it again, Kenna. Do it again.
He's gonna do it. Make a noise. No. Why? Let me take ear move.
Yeah, what is that?
It looks like an owl.
That does look like some kind of a gargoyle type creature, doesn't it?
What is that?
I think we just turned and looked at us.
I seen its ear flick.
Oh
my god! There's just legs and perked its ears up.
Wait, where is it? Oh, I see it.
Do it again, Kenna. Do it again.
He's gonna do it. Make a noise. No. Why? Let me take...
Yeah, look at that thing, man. I don't know. I've been saying for years the veil is lifting and stranger things are coming in. I was saying that before Stranger Things, the TV show, came out. Stranger Things coming in. And we have seen that. And a lot of this paranormal, supernatural type activity on the increase as well. What could that thing be? I'll play it one more time.
Oh,
What is that?
I think we just turned and looked at us.
I seen its ear flick.
Oh
my god! There's just legs and perked its ears up.
Wait, where is it? Oh, I see it.
Do it again, Kenna. Do it again.
He's gonna do it. Make a noise. No. Why? Let me take ear move.
Yeah, what is that?
It looks like an owl.
So creepy looking. It looks like
What is that?
a half human, half creature to me. It looks like a hybrid thing,
I
all
seen
bent
its ear
over,
flick.
the somewhat kind of a human form, and then
There's just
you can see
legs
its
and
ears
perked
moving.
its
Even
ears
with
up.
this, you can see its ears moving around.
Do it again, Kenna. Do it again.
He's gonna do it. Make a noise. No.
I don't know, man. Crazy times. This isn't necessarily the storm stuff I was talking about. That's going to be more news stories. Again, if you're new here, I get into a lot of stuff. So, as I said, hang tight, relax, and enjoy the show. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. Meet the new Batwoman. Javicia Leslie replaces Ruby Rose on CW superhero series. Just going to get a lot more of this, man. And all this kind of stuff just perpetuates racism. It's racist doing this, making this move, but the people that do that are either so dumbed down and blind to their own kind of social justice warrior mindset. They don't see the irony in some of this, or they don't see when they're actually being racist. But it perpetuates more of that, doesn't it? I mean, the show was garbage anyway. I don't know if you ever tried to watch Batwoman with Ruby Rose. It was all programming, lots of social engineering, all the social justice warrior stuff was in there. That's what it was all about. The fans definitely hated it. And I guess now they're going to try to reboot it, with blackface is what they're doing, really. And I honestly have to wonder how some of these actors and actresses feel whenever they get these kind of roles like this. I mean, is that something? I guess, some of them may think this is going to make a big difference and they're really doing something for the black community now. Or I don't know, or others, would they think like, really, I'm getting this because of that? And they would see the agenda and not even be a part of it. I guess they wouldn't even be up for the role if they were thinking that far ahead, would they? Maybe that's why there's so much narcissism in Hollywood. And really, a lot of these actors and actresses, they're just like newsreaders. They're just handsome people or good-looking people that can read lines, and that's about it. When you try to have a real conversation with them, dumb as a box of hair. Some of them, right? I would think. Or just incredibly programmed. So there you have it. There's that. Here's another one, man. The Wonder Years. Loved the Wonder Years. I grew up on the Wonder Years. Little Fred Savage and Winnie Cooper. Remember that show? Well, it's getting a reboot. Da-da-da-da, with an all-black family. An all-black family. This time, though, we're going to do... Where is it? Let me see where they explain what it's going to be. It says, while the original series starred Fred Savage and revolved around a white middle-class family in the 1960s suburbs, the Disney-owned network's new take focuses on how a black middle-class family in Montgomery, Alabama, oh boy, in the turbulent late 60s made sure it was the Wonder Years for them too. Okay, here we go. Yeah, more of this divisive stuff, and you're going to be taught your lesson. I really hope none of you are watching network television on the regular, really. And most of my audience, I think, are beyond that. But nothing but programming, nothing but mind control programming for you. And here you go. More of this stuff. Excuse me. Here is a BL plus M fighting against a black Trump supporter. Here we go. The Trump supporters in white. So long story short, he gets arrested for it. I don't know. This feels like a rare occasion. It'd be nice to see more actual justice and law enforcement in some of these cases. There you go. There you go. That's right. Okay, this right here, it's a little rough. This is a... this was... and when I first found this, they were saying the guy in there had cerebral palsy. And he wound up having some kind of a heart attack or something during this. And you find that out here at the end. But anyway, this is more peaceful protests, as the news tells us, taking place in, where is this? Columbus, Ohio, right? It's Columbus, Ohio? Yeah, it's in Columbus. Okay, here we go. Peaceful protesters. This guy just took a wrong turn, is what happened. We can see the storm now. You think all this stuff's just going to go away? Wait till these terrors fully turn on the Christians. That's the way I always see stuff like this. Wait till these goats fully turn on the Christians. The man's inside his car the entire time. They're reaching in, kicking him, yelling at him. And then here in a moment, we find out that he had a heart attack. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Yeah, the guy had a stroke. Gee, I wonder why. Think maybe this had something to do with it? Yeah, there's a storm, guys. You can see it. Dartmouth woman facing charges in connection with road rage incident involving a dog. Let me see if I can find this footage here. This is nuts. All right, I may have it somewhere else. A 27-year-old woman is facing charges in connection with a video that shows her allegedly swinging a dog by its leash and using the animal as a weapon during a roadside fight in Dartmouth on Canada Day. Clarissa Angela Crawley of Dartmouth is facing charges of assault with a weapon and willfully causing unnecessary suffering to an animal. The police say the fight started after two women in one vehicle confronted two others in a second vehicle after allegedly being cut off in a drive-through. Oh, gosh. Got cut off in a drive-through. Time to rage. The women didn't want to pursue charges upon their arrival, according to police. But on Sunday... Yeah, what happened is... Here, I'll explain. They didn't say everything. You just see a little screenshot here. But what happened is this one girl runs up to that van in front of her, opens the door, starts yelling and fighting with the girl sitting in there. She reaches in, she grabs the girl's dog, and that's her dog there. That's not her dog that she's holding. That's the dog from the van. Pulls it out from its leash, starts swinging it around like nunchucks and hitting that lady with her own pet. It's just some of the madness out there with these people, man. People in the streets going crazy. Speaking of which, here's another one. Here's some nutty lady. Oh, this is too old. Sorry. This is something I was just watching. I don't know if you want to see this. This is from December 2018. Something I was watching earlier. It's an assault by a New York City subway rider. And it's 6 minutes long, and it's really nuts. So I'll play a little bit for you. I was just going through different videos of people freaking out. This is one of them I found. All right, here we go.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
Yeah, the language, sorry. The lady just from out of nowhere starts freaking out and starts kicking at people. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's pretty crazy. But, we get the point, man. People are going nuts. Even back in 2018. Moving on to the next. Oh, man. Yeah, here's some good news. Here's a bit of a doom break. This was awesome. This happened this past week. This guy saved a baby. And I'll let you see how he does it. And then the sad thing is, you see the mother throwing the baby, but the mother actually didn't make it through this, which is sad, but check this out.
The mother tosses her child off a balcony engulfed in flames.
The man running to help and making that miraculous catch is this man right here, Phillip Blanks. He is a former U.S. Marine. He once played football, a wide receiver at Saddleback College, and tonight he is sharing his story with Eyewitness News reporter Eileen Frere.
Phillip Blanks says it was chaotic. There was a lot going on, but he says he spent his life training for moments just like this.
Throw the baby down!
Dramatic video as Phillip Blanks dives to catch a 3-year-old boy thrown from the balcony by his mother.
Whoa.
As fire raged through an apartment in Phoenix.
I just had tunnel vision on the patio, and when the boy got thrown off the balcony, it was just me and the boy. Like, I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything else. He was twirling in the air like a propeller. His head landed perfectly in my elbow.
The 28-year-old, a retired U.S. Marine.
I've always had a warrior mindset growing up. I've always had a protector mindset growing up. And it just enhanced when I went to the military.
A former high school football star in Michigan, he was also a wide receiver at Saddleback College in Mission Viejo, where he finished his first semester with a 4.0 grade point average. He credits football for his quick reaction. Blanks says he was visiting a friend July 3rd when he heard a commotion outside. He took off running without his shoes.
Honestly, instinct. It wasn't much thinking. I just reacted. I just did it.
Blanks says he does not consider himself a hero.
The mother, she is the real hero in the story because she made the ultimate sacrifice to get her children out.
The children's 30-year-old mother died in the apartment. Her 8-year-old daughter was rescued by another Good Samaritan. Phoenix firefighters say the girl and her 3-year-old brother were rushed to the hospital with burns, but are expected to survive. Blanks, who works as an executive protection agent in Phoenix, says he spent his life preparing for this day.
I think God has put me on this path for that.
After playing football for years, this day, he would make the catch of his life.
We saw what you did there, newsreader. Okay, that's a good story. I like that one. We need more of those, don't we? But this isn't called the Good News Show, even if it was. All right. It's hard to find a lot of good news these days, sadly. But I'll throw in some doom breaks here and there. All right, here's another one. Pence handshake from July 7th, 2020. YouTube channel Jody L792 put this up there. And it's the perfect Freemason grip. The finger on the knuckles and everything. It's you'll see Pence do it perfectly. So I'm not surprised. What does this mean? It means what a lot of us have been saying, that no matter what role Donald Trump's playing in all this stuff, he's not going to stop this tidal wave that's coming. You know, he's got a finger maybe in a couple holes, but the whole thing's going to breach. You know, we're dealing with prophecy. I'm not trying to be a doontard or anything here. We're just having to be realistic about some of these things. Just think about all the time throughout the years I do where people were telling me in comments, shut up, man. Nothing's ever going to happen. Everything's fine. We're going to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be great. It's like, well, yeah, sure. No one knows the time or the day or how this stuff's all going to play out. But look at us now. Look where we are now. A global lockdown? Huh? All the connections I show, the obvious connections with the symbols and with the secret societies, other people show this stuff as well. But it's all right there. And ultimately, it's all leading to the revelation of the Antichrist and the actual end of everything. And all of our politics, religion, everything else, infiltrated by Masons, higher level Masons, not your grandpappy's Masons. I had grandfather Mason myself. Not those guys, not these small town Masons, but the Masons that really run stuff, the high end, the top of the top, the apex of the pyramid, or the Illuminati, whatever terms we want to put. It's definitely a culmination of different secret societies working together, but all with one goal. The NWO is one term, or the beast system, as I like to call it. Anywho, don't let me ramble on. It's only 19 seconds, but here it is.
Not a truthful answer. Decisions can be made where men's lives are at stake, resources are put at risk.
Watch closely. Yep, thumbs, second knuckle. Well done, gentlemen.
You're expected to give a direct answer, and it has to be as true as it
And they hold and slide. There you go.
as you can
There's Pence.
risk. And so even if it's painful, when you're asked a direct question, you're expected to. So even if it's painful, at stake, resources are put at risk. And so
There you go. Got your thumbs. Perfect position. Got your second knuckle. It's a police commissioner or something back there. There you have it. There we go, guys. All right. There it is. There it be. Here's something you can check out that I thought was really crazy. It's the Jeffrey Epstein Network. This is on graphcommons.com. Graphcommons.com, the Jeffrey Epstein Network. View graph. Look at this. You can spend a lot of time on this thing if you want to, but you can just... scrolling up, and as you scroll up, it just gets closer and closer, and you find more and more names and companies and all these people connected with Jeffrey Epstein. Tons and tons and tons. Something I want to share with you. So if you want to look into that sometime, just see how vast the Jeffrey Epstein network really is, how connected he really was to everything. Not just celebrities. They're in there too. There you go. Check it out for your enjoyment. This is a Twitter Spencer Thurston I just found this week that this is a pretty wild thread he got into. Let me go ahead and click that. It says these 4 men were working on a documentary called The Silent Children. The project, initially founded by Leroy Moore from the Dave Matthews Band and his fiancée Lisa Bean, was canceled after Chris Cornell's death. So if this is true, and I can't verify this, but if that's true, that's huge. These 4 men, he's saying, is Chester Bennington, Avicii, Chris Cornell, and Anthony Bourdain. Oh man, the stuff on him and his witchy ex, right? I don't know. What do you think? So these 4 men, they're saying, were working on a movie called The Silent Children with Leroy Moore from Dave Matthews Band and his fiancée. Here's one. It says, this is interesting. Oh man, I wish it was bigger. Sorry. But this is a picture, you may have seen this, of Anthony Bourdain. Look at that. And it says, Scottish Highlands stalking. And he's got blood all over his face. So yeah, maybe he was hunting. I immediately think maybe he's just hunting animals or something. But some people claim with his connections to the witchy ex, Argento, and certainly a witchy ex, that maybe it was something more sinister. Maybe it was a human. Maybe some people have hypothesized that he was perhaps the chef for some of these elite cannibalistic dinners. But here's something. I said you can go look up this image for yourself because it's all over the place online. You can find these images of Bourdain. But then when they're looking at his glasses, it looks like you can see, it looks like there's a little girl sitting down looking right at him, and she's smiling. And that's the reflection on his glasses. So that might be something some of y'all want to investigate. You know, somebody may have faked that. You never know. But maybe go try to find the original photo, close in on his glasses there, on his frame, and take a look at that. Because even from where I'm looking, I know it's not the biggest picture for y'all. It does look like a little girl sitting down smiling, which is strange. So I don't know. I don't know what this means. Anyway, so this is a good thread, goes on and on, lots of interesting bits. But that was the most interesting to me. I hadn't really heard of the Silent Children thing and this connection to all of these celebrities. 3 singers that have passed away. All right, moving on.
That's right, Megan. As you mentioned, city council members voted 5-1 on Tuesday to remove.
Okay, Jackson City Council removing the Andrew Jackson statue. Just more madness, guys. Here we go. Stripping away history, preparing for the Antichrist's New World Order is the way I see it.
The statue erected 52 years ago in honor of Andrew Jackson. It's the first step in unraveling his complicated past from the city that bears his name. Just outside City Hall, a statue of General Andrew Jackson, the bronze statue sculpted in 1968. The city is named after Jackson and was founded in 1822 as Mississippi's capital city. An honor for his role in the Battle of New Orleans during the War of 1812. Andrew Jackson also served as 7th President of the United States. But also in his biography is the fact that he was a slave owner. According to the Hermitage, Jackson's homestead in Nashville, Tennessee, the former president owned about 150 enslaved African Americans at the time of his death. He also signed the Indian Removal Act. The law pushed several Native American tribes out of the South, including here in Mississippi, on a forced march to Oklahoma. Thousands died in the march, known as the Trail of Tears. City Council voted 5-1 to remove the statue, the lone no vote cast by Councilman Ashby.
So interesting how it's a spirit. I always say it's a spirit because that spirit started with the Me Too movement, remember? And that's where the canceling came in, of going through people's Twitter from 30 years ago and finding they did blackface or said something negative towards women, and suddenly they lose their careers. Well, that was a spirit at work. We see the spirit at work now. Now they're going after political figures, historical figures, and if they have a history where there's a blemish, can't have sins, got to get rid of them, strip them away. But it's that spirit. So I try not to look at this as political and people. It's just being worked through all that. But it's that Antichrist spirit, and it really does want to rip everything down.
Foot. Shokwe Antalumaba says the statue is moving in part because Andrew Jackson is guilty of one of the most heinous acts of genocide that this nation has ever seen. The mayor also says as his administration works to build a city focused on progress and unity, we must make certain that we display images which reflect those aspirations. Now, an interesting fact about the Andrew Jackson statue, it was designed by sculptor Catherine Rhymes Speed Edel. Her first husband was Leland Speed, who was elected mayor back in 1945.
Okay, got it. More of that. Removing the history. San Francisco Supervisor's Karen Act would make false racially biased calls to police illegal. Look at this Karen thing. The Karen thing itself really was its own kind of psyop or mind control, wasn't it? I'm finding videos all the time now, and it's always towards white middle age, not necessarily middle class, but middle-aged women. San Francisco Supervisor's Karen Act would make false racial, but you know, there is a lot of that. We've seen it here on the show. There's lots of footage of these middle-aged white ladies freaking out on black people, trying to get into their apartment complex or walking through the park. Oh my gosh, it's a black person. And that's just another symptom of all this racial division. All these games being played. So many people are under mind control now. I mean, it's severe now. You see it. I know you do. The masks don't help. So we go from I can't breathe with Floyd to suddenly everybody's got to wear masks. Okay, sure. Right? No. In fact, I forgot to mention this. I've had a big life change myself. My little town in the middle of nowhere in the middle of America just passed a ruling. The mayor did of my town. My state's not for this, but the town, the idiot mayor and these council people, some of them the rainbow children, they all decided to make sure that all of us have to wear a stupid mask now. So I decided, and I went out and tested, I can't get in anywhere out here without a mask. So I'm done shopping in this town. I'm done getting gas in this town. I'm done doing anything in this town. And I really wish I would have listened to my instincts this last few years and got out of here and got into an RV back when I could have. I don't even know if we have time. I don't know what things are going to look like after November. It's just going to keep heating up. You know that. But if we're still around, if there's still any semblance of a society left, next year, early next year, when I'm done in this place, I'm getting out. I'm just going to go, even if I have to go get a tent and just go set up a tent somewhere, as long as there's good Wi-Fi. I probably won't do a tent. I'm really going to try to get a camper or something, but go somewhere where there's decent Wi-Fi out in the country, away from all this stuff, further away from people, which is okay with me. Don't get me wrong. I love people, but I also love my alone time. Probably more. I enjoy my own company quite a bit. I know that sounds bad to some people, but I'm my best friend. You got to be your best friend, right? Chubbs is up there, but not quite. But there are a lot of cases of this, of these white middle-aged ladies freaking out on black people. But anyway, here we go. Honk, honk. It doesn't matter anymore. The world's going crazy. Following a spate of high-profile 911 calls against people of color, San Francisco Supervisor Shaman Walton on Tuesday introduced an ordinance that would make discriminatory calls for police illegal. Oh boy, what could go wrong, right? Walton dubbed the ordinance the Karen Act, in an apparent nod to the popularized slang name that refers to an entitled white woman complaining about people of color. The legislation would amend the San Francisco Police Code to make it unlawful for someone to fabricate false racially biased emergency reports, according to a news release from Walton. All right, there we go. Honk, 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 honk. Here we go. Here's another one. Well, this is different. This is a lady. Florida doctor has no time for Costco's mask policy. Lots of this kind of stuff coming up now with the masks too, of course, because it's part of the breakdown of society, man. Think about masks. You can't see someone smile. It's even as simple as that. Oh, and you got to stay away from 6 feet away. Can't even shake a hand anymore. Or look someone in the face and smile at them. Can't even give them a hug, or it'll rub on the back or something. You see how this plays into it? It's that separation I've been talking about for years becoming more manifest. Are you on this side or are you on that side? The mask is another symbol of that. And the sickness of it, again, that you can't see people smile. You can't touch another human. You can't shake the hand. Give them a hug. I know a lot of us do it anyway, but a lot of people aren't. Anyway, watch this.
You're in Costco not wearing your mask, refusing to wear your mask.
Yes, call the police.
And here's her mother.
Yes, there's my mother. Shame me like an ass. Get out of here.
Can you call your manager? Can you call her your manager? Well, you call my manager?
He's taking pictures of me because I haven't had a moment to put my mask on.
You can put it on right now, ma'am.
Shaming me. I'm not going to do that for you.
You should be ashamed.
I'll do that when I'm ready to do it.
You should be ashamed.
It's ridiculous to shame people. Don't you have anything better to do?
No, not right now. I don't.
Do you understand science?
Science? Maybe better than you do. Apparently, I'm the one protecting other people by wearing a mask. Are you? Well, great. Pull out your ID. I want to see. I want to see your credentials. Pull them out. If you're a doctor, let's see them.
Go away with the phone, and you can figure out what you need to do with your life, and I'll figure out what I need to do with mine. You're protected right now.
You're about to be escorted out of the store if you don't put in your mask.
I'll wait till he tells me to. Okay?
Let's see. You've already been told multiple times to put on your mask by me and employees.
You're such a good boy with your mask.
Thank you very much. I try. I take my health and the health of others very seriously.
That's why you all have masks on. You're good. I take mine very seriously.
Yeah.
And you know nothing about me. And
Okay.
you know nothing about
Well,
me.
I'm even wondering if there's a way I can break my lease. I just don't want to be around all this stuff. I know you guys don't either. I don't know. Maybe some of you do. But I've always been a drifter anyway. I've been in this place where I'm at now for much longer than I intended. Many years, ever since coming back from Central America. Made the best of it. Been spending a lot of time with family and seen some old friends. But I would do fine in a little camper in the middle of nowhere, some woods or some forest somewhere here in America with the Sasquatches. I'll take my chances with the Sasquatches as opposed to this madness that's happening all around us right now. I'd rather take my chances with the monsters in the woods. Daphne police released statement on incident at Five Guys. Five Guys Pizza or burgers and fries. If you guys ever eaten Five Guys burgers and fries, I only ate there once. It was a while back, but I remember it being one of the best hamburgers I ever had in my life. Just saying, just throwing that out there. All right, let's see what this is all about. Let's see what Five Guys did.
A restaurant in Daphne in the middle of a controversy after some employees allegedly refused service to police officers. The restaurant we're talking about is Five Guys in the Jubilee Square shopping center. According to a law enforcement source, several employees turned their backs on the officers last night. Our Baldwin County reporter Hal Sherrick has been digging into the story looking for answers. He's joining us live now from Daphne, and how we've got a response from Daphne police and also the company.
That's right, Lenise. And in that statement from Five Guys, it includes an apology to the officers. Here's that statement in full. It reads, Five Guys and the franchisee are actively investigating the situation and are committed to getting to the bottom of it. However, no matter what the details are, we do not want these police officers or any customers to feel disrespected or slighted in any way. We apologize to those officers and also want to make it clear that Five Guys and its franchisees are committed to fair, respectful, and equal treatment for all customers. We will continue to investigate the matter. End quote. This all started last night with a social media post by an officer who claimed to have been refused service. Several officers walked into the restaurant to order food, at which point 6 or 7 employees turned their backs and refused service. The officer also claims one of the employees was overheard saying, "I'm not going to serve them." After waiting a few moments, the officers left. Now signs are posted on the doors requiring people to wear masks when they enter for takeout service. And according to the statement we just got from Daphne PD, 3 officers walked in without masks, and when they realized masks were required, they went back to their cars, put on their masks, and walked back in. The police statement goes on to say, quote, "The events that occurred while officers were in the restaurant were unfortunate. We will continue to work with Five Guys on this matter towards resolution once all the facts are known. The Daphne Police Department does not think that the actions of a few employees represents Five Guys as a whole." And
all right, we get it. We understand. But it's that end of the law enforcement, or that form of rule of laws. The rule of law is what it is. That's what we're seeing the end of. When I see these stories like this, lawlessness spreading, the end of the rule of law, the end of the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and everything. It's what they want. It's an antichrist spirit. It's come to steal, kill, and destroy, and it wants to control everything. Everything. CNN's Lemon, the way to fix Mount Rushmore is to add Obama. I've been watching, I said this a while back, watch for Obama to come back into the news more and more. And this is over a year ago. So Obama's playing his role in all of this stuff right now. And certainly a contender for the AC, for the man of sin, son of perdition. The embodiment of that spirit. How crazy is that to think? But it's really not when you start looking into Obama. I've got a lot of videos on my channel on Obama. You could try putting Obama in the search engine. I don't even know if that works anymore on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I'm just glad I'm still here. I've been riding it till the wheels fall off. I always pray for protection on the channel. I mean it. I've been real serious about that through the years, and I'm just grateful that it's still here, man. It's still one of the best places to reach new people, even though they hide the channels, hide your views, everything else. It's still one of the best places to find new people. So, yeah, Obama. Here's this, too. I'm working on a little video. I was kind of angry the other day, and I started working on a video all in capitals. It was called Burn Your F*** K-I-N-G masks. That's all it is. It was a short one. There's some rock music there that I like on top of it. It's kind of angry. I haven't put it out. I do this stuff all the time. I'll just have to get something out there. If I put it out there, I'm just going to put it just on the YouTube, or just on my website, or Patreon first, then website or whatever. But that's it. Definitely can't put stuff like that on YT. This right here is from, I'm trying to think of the name of the book. See if I can make this bigger. There you go. This is a slave mask. And this is from a book written in Paris, 1839-1840, called Jacques Arago, Souvenirs d'un Aveugle. I don't know how to say all that stuff. But anyway, I thought this was interesting. So there you go. So you got the slave mask right here, an example of a mask that the slaves had to wear. Kind of like, George Soros-backed DA charges couple with hate crime for painting over BL plus M. Have you seen this one? Watch this video. You may have heard about this. I'll read a little bit. Contra Costa County, California DA Diana Becton, who was backed by left-wing billionaire George Soros in 2018. Oh, gross. There you go. Has charged a couple with a hate crime for painting over BL plus M mural on the road. In a press release Tuesday afternoon, Becton's office announced that Martinez, California residents Nicole Anderson and David Nelson are being charged with 3 misdemeanors for their actions, including violation of civil rights. The video was in fact shared on social media following that news organizations and activists sprang into action, and Anderson and Nelson were doxxed with personal information, including addresses and phone numbers posted. Oh yeah, that's the new system too, man. That's what people do. If you've ever been doxxed, it's really gross. That's an antichrist spirit. I've been doxxed. Many of you have been doxxed. It's disgusting. It's gross. It gets your family involved in things that they have no idea. Just being involved, you know, they don't know what you do on the internet, you know, and then all of a sudden your family's involved in stuff. I mean, it's really, really gross. It's very, very evil. But they're doing it all the time now. That's basically what Twitter is now. Twitter is just basically used to dox people, it seems. All the time, you'll see people on Twitter, these threads I'll find, these feeds, just doxing people for not wanting to do a gay wedding cake, you know, just whatever it is. And you understand this. The world calls it cancel culture. I'd call it the Antichrist spirit, growing, manifesting even more in people. Anyway, here's this.
We're sick of this narrative. That's what's wrong. The narrative of police brutality, the narrative of oppression, the narrative of racism. It's a lie. It's a lie.
This is racist.
This is racism is what it is. That's what it is. There is no oppression. There is no racism. It's a leftist lie. It's a lie from the media, the liberal left.
You can't be that stupid, can you?
No, but you can be.
No, I'm not. You are the idiot of the scenario.
He's in shit fucking New York. This is not happening in my town. Go get my other cat of paint. I got plenty.
Keep America's raging, that's right. Why don't you guys learn about history? The Emancipation Proclamation Act.
History,
Yeah, that's right. Abraham Lincoln. You're only free because of our forefathers.
So many generations in America now have been taught that America is garbage, America's hateful, America's racist, and this is what we get. There you go. All right, there it is. Italy blows the lid off vaccine scam. Will no longer poison citizens with globalist eugenics. Let's see what this is all about. It's 9 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this lady has some interesting points here in the beginning. And this is on Vicky Hogue YouTube channel.
My name is Rachel Seller, and I'm a registered nurse. My specialty is forensic nursing. I expose medical crime one misdiagnosis at a time. I help people discover the root cause of disease. I'm also a holistic nurse, so I specialize in all things natural medicine, integrative and functional medicine. Today, I have a very important message for you about vaccines containing MRC5 cell line. This is an urgent message, but before I go into it, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. When I graduated high school, I joined the United States Navy and I became a hospital corpsman. I remember injecting newborn babies with vitamin K and hepatitis B vaccine. I was 18 years old. At the time, I really didn't quite understand what I was doing. Looking back now, I also remember people leaving from boot camp on crutches after receiving hepatitis B vaccine. What we now know about vaccines is they are genetically modified organisms. They are made in a lab. They are using aborted human fetal cells. I also want to tell you that my brother, who's 18 years old, was vaccine injured. He went paralyzed from waist down after a flu shot, and none of the doctors knew what was wrong with him. He was also born with Down syndrome. So all these things compiled was very devastating for the family. And I will tell you today that these vaccines that they are making, the only thing I can think of is calling it witchcraft, medical sorcery. This is vaccine sorcery because the MRC5 cell line is actually using aborted human fetal tissue. This fetal tissue has been around since the 1960s. And I want to teach you how to read medical literature like a pro. Every vaccine insert that contains MRC5 cell line has an insert. And on that insert, it will say MRC5. The most concerning thing to me is healthcare professionals, I don't think that all of them fully understand what they're injecting. The most important message that I can tell anyone is doctors, nurses, pharmacists especially, know what you're injecting into people. An MRC5 cell line contains aborted human fetal tissue from the 1960s. But the important thing to know about it is that it is an immortalized cell line. That means continuous. Anything that divides continuously is an abnormal cell. That is cancer. The other word that is really important to know is diploid. Human diploid cells. That is human fetal tissue. Okay? Some of the vaccines that contain MRC5 cell line are the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, Varivax, chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, Twinrix, and the poliovax. The important thing to know also is that Dr. Andrew Wakefield said we are living on a virgin soil, which means you think you have immunity to measles, mumps, or rubella, but you've never seen that because we've been given genetically modified vaccines. That's not the true measles, mumps, or rubella. So there's a report from an institution called Corvelva, and this is an institution out of Italy, and this is a report on the genome sequencing that basically they're showing. So here on the right, you have what they are considering normal human DNA. And on the left, notice the center, how it's all like spaghetti. So this DNA that they're creating in a lab has insertions, deletions, and translocations. What that means is the normal ATCG sequence that DNA has is being rewritten. The human genome is being rewritten by scientists. And their AI God programs that they use to sequence DNA. This is basically injecting cancer into your body. So there's 1,000 large deletions, there's 10 inversions. All of this comes from the aborted human fetal cell line, the lung tissue in particular. So you can go to corvelva.it and print this out. I'm going to put a link below. Some important language. Engineered cell line. This is testing for genetic stability. Engineered cell line. In this report, it talks about basically residual DNA. It could be oncogenic. Oncogenic means cancer. That's oncocell, oncogenes, including the integration and expression of uncoded oncogenes or insertional mutagenesis, mutant, there's the word, following DNA integration. Residual DNA might be capable of transmitting viral infections if retroviral proviruses, integrated copies of DNA virus, or extrachromosomal genomes are present. So basically, they're taking aborted human fetal cells that are cancerous, and they are putting it into your vaccine. MRC.
There you go, man. Well, that's half of it. But if you want to watch the rest of it, watch the whole thing. As I said, I found it on Vicky Hogue, Hogue, YouTube channel. It's from May 2020. So there you go. This is, I guess you could consider this kind of a doom break. I'm not even going to spoil it. This is like 3 minutes. It's worthy. Check this out. I consider this a bit of a doom break. You'll see why.
The freeway foot race that ended with the leader of the former CHOP zone in handcuffs. That arrest happened this morning, just after 9:30 on I-5 near the convention center. Camera 7's Gary Horker joins us now live. And Gary, it took a while, but now we're learning details about what led up to that chase.
Right, and there is a lot of information regarding this investigation that SPD cannot reveal yet because it's still an active case. We do know this. It started on Broadway, near where I'm standing, near the former CHOP zone, where all those protesters are gathered behind us early this morning. We know that the suspect was wanted for a felony investigation, and after it went on to I-5 in a wild foot chase, this is what was caught on video.
Hey, John.
Watch as Seattle police who chased the suspect look down onto I-5. The suspect is seen bolting away here from officers who were trying to arrest him. He sprints all the way across the active interstate and jumps over a Jersey barrier onto an exit ramp below, and he disappears under an overpass. Now, minutes later, Cairo 7 cameras spot that suspect, who is now in pain from being injured, being treated by paramedics while police question him. Nearby, an abandoned Nissan Pathfinder.
This right here will probably be a meme for a lot of people. I imagine they're probably going to cut 2-3 seconds out of that, since this was considered one of the big leaders of CHOP. You'll see some footage here in a little bit, but here we go.
By paramedics while police question him. Nearby, an abandoned Nissan Pathfinder police say was stolen appeared to have crashed in traffic, allegedly being driven by this same suspect who became a very familiar face during the 22-day CHOP protest.
We're holding a person down. That's what we're holding. You're in the hostage.
Sources tell Cairo 7 the 21-year-old man was well known as a leader within the CHOP movement.
You guys are all standing in this space right now.
He was invited to represent CHOP in a closed-door negotiation with Seattle's Mayor Jenny Durkin last week.
Like, look at him. Like, you cannot be here. You cannot be here. Well, I'm going to be here.
On Monday, police reform activist Andre Taylor was confronted by River.
As long as your mouth is shut, I don't care. As long as your mouth is shut, you ain't then you're not even going to have a people. You're not going to talk on no camera peacefully then the camera's going to catch us talking like this.
Security stepped in and kept it from getting worse, but River was heard telling Taylor to leave.
Nobody's going to
Now, Cairo 7 is not naming the suspect because he has not been charged, but police say he was wanted for a felony involving stolen property. They say the chase began very close to where the CHOP zone was cleared by officers yesterday after protesters ran the place for 3 weeks. Back live here at Pine and Broadway, this intersection, folks, has been blocked for at least the last couple of hours. I'm going to have to get out of the way because so many cars are having to turn around. You see metro buses and a long line of cars going all the way up to about Harvard Avenue.
What a mess, man. I feel bad for anybody living in big cities right now, even if all this stuff hadn't caught up to you yet. Just, ugh. The city of Seattle held a training session for white employees called Interrupting Internalized Racial Superiority and Whiteness. See, just more of this stuff, man. Unbelievable. But there's full steam ahead. That's the thing. The system, the people involved with this, it's full steam ahead. They are not slowing down. That's why I'm on pins and needles to see what this next few months holds till November, till the election, if there's an election. And they're already putting it out in the news that it's going to be contested by Biden no matter what, because they're trying to put the narrative out now that Trump's involved in some kind of voting scandals, even though they're all different districts right now. Democratic districts in America are getting caught actually utilizing mail-in voter fraud, mail-in voter scams. There's 3 districts I know of we've seen here on these shows over the last few months. And I'm sure by now there's more stories out there on it. It's just, it's been a way of the system for a very long time. It's why we have so many disgusting politicians on both the right and the left in America that are do-nothings. They look out for themselves. They're all buddies behind the scenes. I feel most of them are Masons. That's one of the ways they're all connected. But a lot of it, they stay in just through fraud too. Years and years and years. People always wonder, how does this person keep getting elected? So anyway, so I did a public records request to find out exactly what this means. Let's go through this thread together. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but he found this. This is one of the things. This is what they were being taught. This is what white people were being taught, it seems. Internalized racial oppression. So you got internalized racial superiority on one side and internalized racial inferiority on the other side. Okay, we get it. We understand. We got it. Got it. More of that kind of madness. Training camps, though. This is, I believe, just one of those signs of there'll be camps. There's going to be camps for people. Hillary Clinton talked about that. Not even kidding. Look it up. Before 2016, before the election, she's talking about, you know what I'd like to see in America is camps, political camps for adults. We can put the right in with the left and teach each other. Right. The right side would not be teaching the left side anything in these camps. Anyway, the camps. Correcting your thought. You're not thinking correctly. Dutch police arrest 6 men, uncover makeshift torture chamber. Here's something right out of a horror movie. Look at this. In this grab taken from video made available by Netherlands police on Tuesday, July 7th, 2020, a view of a sea container equipped as a torture chamber in the Netherlands. Dutch police said they have arrested 6 men after discovering sea containers, so multiple, wow, that have been converted into a makeshift prison and soundproofed torture chamber, complete with a dentist chair, tools including pliers and scalpels and handcuffs. That is just right out of the horror movies. I still watch some scary movies, but that's one thing I hate in any horror movie is when people are tied up into things like this and being slowly tortured. I just can't watch stuff like that. Or when things are too bloody gory, too realistic, like Saw and movies like this. I just don't like that stuff. People being contained and tortured. It's just one of the worst. Authorities said police conducted the raid before the torture chamber could be used and alerted potential victims who went into hiding. The grisly discovery was made last month by officers investigating leads generated by data from encrypted phones used by criminals. The communications network was cracked recently by French police. Detectives in Britain and the Netherlands have already arrested hundreds of suspects based on the encrypted messages. Tuesday's announcement gave a chilling insight into the increasingly violent Dutch criminal underworld, which is involved in the large-scale production and trafficking of drugs. Dutch police said last week that their investigations, codenamed 26 Lamont, based on millions of messages from the EncroChat phones, had led to the arrest of more than 100 suspects and seizure of more than 8,000 kilograms, or 17,600 pounds, of cocaine and 2,600 pounds of meth. Yikes. All right, man. Yeah. Any more pictures? No? All right. Moving on. All right, let's do this. I gotta pause this on this site. Let's see what the story is. U.S. military to stand with India in conflict with China, indicates White House official from July 7th, 3 days ago. Really just the headline. It's one of those trends we've been looking here or watching here on the channel, specifically on these shows for a few months. There's been a lot of stories about China and a potential war and these conflicts. And we'll see what happens. But this time, will it be on American soil? You know, a lot of people have dreams and visions about war coming to American soil, that the next war is going to take place here. Maybe it'll be all over the world war. But in this case, unlike anything in the past, well, we had Pearl Harbor, but this one's going to be big and massive and coast to coast. You heard about this? Heard about these people's dreams and different visions about this? It makes you wonder. Anyway, this is an old school video, but just kind of a fun one I wanted to share. There's a short clip. This is a compilation from 2013 called Meanwhile in Russia. There's a short clip I wanted to show. where I found this, in the forum I found this on, people were claiming it looks like somebody just kind of poofed into existence, almost from another dimension, just poofed into existence, and this car suddenly hits him. But then watch the reaction. As the guy gets off the hood, you actually see him go flying and everything. Comes off like nothing ever happened. So some people are making it out like, is this some dimensional traveler? What is this? What happened? Or maybe it was just kind of a trick of the camera. I'm not sure, but I'll let you decide for yourself. It's the next one up right after this. Here it is. Watch. It goes by fast. Let's slow it down. Let's go there. Now let's try it. Looks like someone's waiting for him over there. Oh, let's turn that off. And then he just rolls right off. I'm like, dude, what happened? There it is. One more time, slow motion. We'll see. Yeah, maybe he's just perfectly lined up with the side of that white van. It was just hard to make him out. That's what I'm starting to think now. Still, it's pretty crazy. The fact he survived like that, that's great. I don't know. Because the white van, no, he definitely pops in. It looks like he pops in because the white van in the middle here, you can see its left tail light. That's what I didn't notice. So watch this. So look at the white van on the center screen, left tail light. See what I mean? Look at its left tail light. And then there he is. It's weird. It almost does look like he just kind of, I don't know. But I'm sure it could be maybe another kind of camera thing. Who knows? Who knows? Just more of this. This is Democrat Rep. Ilhan Omar calls for dismantling of the U.S. economy and political systems. It's just out in the open. So I was saying this whole movement, this whole thing is full steam ahead. That's why it's going to be a crazy, really crazy few more months, I'm sure.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
She's the one you can look at her official Twitter picture and blow it up. I showed this on one of the shows. Make of it what you will, but her pupils are perfect slits. And I don't know if she's changed it since, but the picture I showed on one of these shows a while back, which is her official Twitter picture, the slits, the slits, they were there. All right, moving on. Okay, hold on. I got to pause this. Hope you guys are doing well, by the way. Thanks again for joining tonight. I never get a chance to look at the chat while I'm doing this, so I just want to say thanks again for all that are here. Thank you to the moderators, and I just appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for spending some of your Friday evening with us. Still much more to go. Much more to go. Okay, this isn't going to let me see that, but it was just a story about Gavin Newsom, California governor, shutting down all the other businesses while he had his couple of his private wineries open. No surprise, no surprise. Okay, this is kind of heartbreaking. Not much footage, but a little bit. It's from Campus Reform. And it's The interviewer is asking people, well, you'll see. It explains itself. This is a big part of the reason why you're seeing specifically the millennial generation out there in the streets tearing things apart, setting cars on fire, and just going crazy.
Racism, but I feel like it's more like with the police, you feel me?
America was built off of slavery and all of that.
Our country most definitely has a bad legacy. I think it's pretty obvious with the president that we have right now.
What does the 4th of July commemorate?
Basically America's birthday, right?
What year did we declare our independence?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know.
1967, I'll say.
So we're actually very two interesting people to talk to. We're teachers. So I was a 7th grade civics teacher, government teacher, and she's an elementary school teacher, 4th grade, 2nd grade elementary school teacher.
What year did we get our independence?
17 something.
Who did we get our independence from? What country?
I don't know this question.
United States?
I don't know.
America?
Do you guys feel like you were taught enough about this in school? Do you guys feel like you were taught about this in the
The
classroom?
rise of the rainbow children.
I actually don't teach what's in our curriculum. I'm teaching children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter. I taught them about things that are happening currently so that they
Please, guys, listen to this. I'm going to play it again. This is really some of the most heartbreaking stuff I've seen in a long time. But these are the people, a reflection of the people who have access to your children's minds more than you do. A lot of you. Well, maybe that's changed now with the whole pandemic scam and all, but more people at home and kids at home. And that's, to me, that's a good thing. It's a benefit. There are some blessings to come out of all this stuff, of course. We have to count those. It's important to not get too caught up in the idea of it's all falling apart, so to hell with it. Now we're still in it, still fighting, still here. Definitely don't ever get this defeatist attitude about anything. I hope you don't. But this stuff's important, and these are pieces of the puzzle. And they explain, once again, one of the reasons why we're seeing the kind of madness we're seeing out there in the streets with this particular generation. The rise of the rainbow children, I say.
children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter. I taught them about things that are happening currently so that they could make those connections. And when they see it on the news, they're informed. They're not ignoring the facts of our world right now. They're facts that we're actually a racist country.
Anyway, there you go. There we have it, guys. It's a shame. It's a damn shame that there's teachers out there like that. Pack of stray dogs go after some kids in the park. Check this out. This is just, it's far away, so it's nothing brutal or anything, but it was scary when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. It's like something out of a movie. Let me check this out. I don't think there's any sound either. You just, it's a CCTV or something. So here's the kids running out to the park. Just have some fun. One little kid's kind of straying off there by themselves. There we go, catching up. Hey, I'm going to ride the slide first. No, I am. Hey, look. And then to the right, here comes the horror movie. A pack of dogs come in, grab that kid, pull him. This one, look at this. And then the adults come in, luckily, and scare off the pack of dogs. That is just, wow. Did not see that one coming, huh? Okay, that's about it. Next. Okay, here's a scary one. This is another scary one. I always find the scary ones here on Live Leak. Not going to watch the whole thing, just a little bit of the beginning. There's nothing gruesome or graphic or gruesome in this, but it's just this guy, you'll see, just like, whew, wow. Watch. Python grabbed this guy as he's walking by. He makes it, don't worry. Spoiler alert. I wouldn't show it if not. Here we go. I told you. See, now the nice music comes in. Scary stuff, though, man, right? Wow. Wow. Well, no thanks. Okay, somebody filmed Denver, Colorado recently. This is at the state capitol building. Look at this. I played it a few times. This is Denver, Colorado, the state capitol. Okay. A once beautiful city. I haven't been there in a long time, but like I was a kid when we went out there. I remember it being really pretty out there.
Look at the lovely capital, Denver, Colorado. Denver, motherfucking Colorado. Check her out.
I've seen third world countries, or so called. I was in Central America, went through a lot of different countries out there, traveled quite a bit. Belize comes to mind. Belize City was really scary. So I've seen elements of this all over. Guatemala, oof. And just here it is. Just, not all of it. There's beautiful place. Central America is beautiful. A lot of great places, great cities, really, really put together, really nice. But then it's got its tough parts. They all have their tough parts, and we have our tough parts in America too, and this is one of them.
Look at the lovely capital.
So Cyrus's penis making an appearance.
Denver, Colorado.
Right there.
Denver, motherfucking Colorado. Check her out.
There you go, man. All right, we got it. We got it. Rise of the Rainbow Children, I say. Here's footage from July 4th in Norfolk. This is in the United Kingdom. Special hello to our UK listeners. We have friends out there that, even in the other parts of Europe, that stay up really late and listen to the show live. So thanks. I know it's really late for y'all. That's why I try to do the 2 o'clock shows like yesterday. Bigfoot, whatever. Try to keep it somewhat balanced, I guess. Anyway, enough about me. This is the rise of the Rainbow Children. Trans model Danny St. James gave a speech condemning Prime Minister Boris Johnson's stance on transgender rights. And here we go. This is a child trans at the same event.
Okay. Please join with me. We're going to say protect trans youth, okay? Protect trans youth! Protect trans youth! Protect trans youth!
It's really nothing to laugh at, but this really is the rise of the Rainbow Children, and all of this will be included in that final one world religion as well, because love is love. All will be included. It's not that they aren't already with Christ, but they're guidelines with Christ. Rules, if you will. Standards. In this world, certainly, does not want to abide by those kind of standards.
Transgender is something I feel like I need to do because that is my life experience, just like it's the life experience for so many of you.
And it's sad to me. It's not something to laugh at. It's not something to hate. But I look at people like this and they're very lost. They're very lost. And they're all a part of that same hive mind. Many of them are part of that hive mind. They can break free. They can come out of it, but they have to choose. Okay. Got it. This one called, well, again, they use the Karen all the time now, but hiking Karen thinks she's a park ranger. Let's see what this one here's all about. More and more of this coming out, though, right? You've noticed that on the show. We've been doing this show a couple of years now, and this certainly has been an uptick in this kind of footage coming out, which makes one wonder. But check it out.
Wait. Let Ati go down.
Okay, and now for the footage.
You can't have the dog.
I didn't know that.
No, she doesn't need to know where our car is. Come on, let's go. Keep going. Can't be in this country?
Excuse me? Did you say that I can be in this country and do this? Look at your heritage and go back to where your heritage came from.
You guys are just breaking the law. You're breaking the law.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you are.
You need to mind your business.
Okay. Oh, well, let's just go.
Good.
Do you want to give me your name?
What? Why don't you give me your name?
Sure.
What's your name?
My name is Beth.
What's your name?
My name is Beth.
And then go back to where you came from. You can't do that.
Well, you guys saw that, right? She said we can't be in this country, even though I was born here, even though my parents were born here. But we don't look like her, so she thinks we're not from around here.
Just more of that, man. People going cuckoo, and they're falling prey to all of this racial division and it's mind control and these psyops. Let's see what we got here. Yes, I was blocking you. Oh, okay, here we go. This is something I wanted to, it's almost a follow-up thing. Here, I've got a little follow-up video to show you right after this. I saw this story come out. And this week, a friend of mine sent me a text, and I hadn't talked to them in a pretty long time, been a few months. They asked if I heard anything about the coin shortages. I was like, no, what are you talking about? They had gone to a store recently, Circle K or a 7-Eleven or some kind of convenience store, and the person at the store told them they're no longer accepting certain coin denominations or whatever. And I was like, what? Okay. So I find this. National coin shortage prompts giant supermarkets to limit cash transactions. This is from July 3rd, 2020. Those pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters are far more precious due to a national coin shortage brought on by, you know what, the crown virus and resulting shutdown. So it's all part of the plan. That's definitely a part of it, man, is the financial reset. We talked about that last week a little bit. As a result, the giant supermarkets chain is the newest member of a growing list of retailers limiting cash transactions and/or demanding exact change. Due to the national coin shortage, select Giant registers, which is the store, it's called Giant, can only accept credit, debit, and electronic payments at this time, company spokesman said in a response. As the New York Post reports, Lowe's home improvement stores have posted signs urging shoppers to pay with exact change or use other forms of payment, as of convenience stores such as 7-Eleven, oh, there we go, Pilot, and Circle K. All right, I really didn't know it was in there. I promise you, my friend called and said that, so probably was one of those stores, according to news reports and social media posts. The reason for pinching those pennies, along with quarters, nickels, and dimes, it's yet another thing to blame on the crown virus and the resulting national lockdown of businesses across the country. You bet it is. On one hand, the U.S. Mint slowed production of coins to protect workers amid the crisis, the Post writes. On the other, coin deposits from banks also plunged these past few months, bringing the normal circulation to a near standstill that still hasn't thawed. We'll see. All right, so here's the follow-up I wanted to show you. There's more. So this story on the coins. last week I shared with you, I think I played the whole 15 minutes of this video called 3 Prophetic Dreams from Pastor Dana from LWM Video. And I'd checked him out, and as I'd mentioned last time, he's a pastor at a small church somewhere here in America. I assume a smaller church, and all of his videos are just kind of songs and church things and whatever. He doesn't normally do videos about dreams. So he had these 3 prophetic dreams, right? They're pretty hardcore. I'm not gonna kid you. If you missed last week and or haven't seen this, you should look it up. 3 prophetic dreams from Pastor Dana. But I remembered after this text exchange last week and then finding the story about the coins and everything, I remembered this part right here from his 3 prophetic dreams. So we'll play this.
This to warn people that there are some pretty sinister things coming down the pike, and not just for the lost, but for God's people as well. The second dream I had last night, and it woke me up. In this dream, we just had a yard sale to help fund a team going to Ecuador this next year, and we had a yard sale. And I had asked our secretary to get us some change for that yard sale. So in the dream that I'm having, I walk into the bank to get some change. And on the door it says there's no change available. I saw the sign, it registered in my mind, but I walked on in, and the president of the local bank was at the teller station. And she was going to be taking care of business. And I said, I need to get $10 in quarters for a yard sale. And she said, I'm sorry, but the U.S. Mint is no longer making currency or making change, like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, $50. We're not doing that anymore. I was like, well, what do you mean? She said, they've stopped doing it. And I said, well, how are we going to be able to charge $1.50 for anything? And she said, prepare for hyperinflation and just charge $2. And then she said to me in the dream, oh, and by the way, $1 and $5 bills will follow soon after that. And then I heard those words, brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself.
What do you think? I mean, this is posted June 25th, 2020. And everything he talks about in the 3 dreams is things that are coming over the next few months. He had one first dream he had before March and saw the crown virus and all this stuff coming. And the next 2 dreams are coming up over the next few months, especially around November. And there's lots and lots and lots to take in and consider. On a serious note, you know, there's a few different schools of thought on where things can go. If you're a pre-trib type rapture person or whatnot, then you're probably on pins and needles because it could happen any moment. And then there's people that don't believe in that. A lot of people don't believe in a catching away, and they think that the bride is going to go through the chaos, you know, through the whole tribulation. Well, that being the case too, it seems we're very close to. We're in chaos now, and they're still waiting for, I believe, the next 9+2 which may involve the nuke near New York with the tsunamis, Hoover Dam. There's been a lot of programming on Hoover Dam. My friend Jonathan Kleck did some work on that many years ago. I did a video on it just a few years ago. They, for whatever reason, they projected a massive goat next to 2 pillars in satanic colors, red, black, and white, all over the side of the Hoover Dam. They said it was for a soccer team or something a few years ago. I did a whole breakdown on that. So there's programming on there, even with some of the statues near the Hoover Dam and things like this, and just a few things to watch for, I think. You know, maybe a chain of events, who knows? But so I tend to be perfectly neutral in some ways with that whole idea, because I pray for both. I pray, Lord, if there's a catching away, I pray I go, and those I love go, and you know, if we get to go. And if not, if I don't get to go, or if there's not anything like that, then I just pray, as I already know you will be, just be with me, those I love, and help guide us through, you know, to whatever we need to do. If we have to do something to help or whatever it is, that's great. If not, if I'm on my own and, you know, there's no mission and I see a guillotine over there, I may just go jump in line. I don't know. You know, it's not fun to think about. Don't get me wrong. But for me, there's no fear of this stuff because it's just part of it. You know, I've been seeing this come for a long time. Of course, I consider the possibilities. But I would love a catching away. Don't get me wrong. Okay. So if the catching away is to come, then it really could be any time, it seems. Who knows? And if that's not what happens, then we'll see what happens in November, around November. I'm just saying, be ready. So I myself have been preparing in a few ways. I actually got a rifle, is one thing. Had to go through the whole process of it, but that's one. And the other is just food preparation. I've been working on that. My parents have a place out by a lake. It's kind of their vacation place or whatever. They don't really go out there much anymore, but trying to get them to get more food out there and water just in case. Things like that, little things to just kind of get ready for whatever. And that's not living in fear. You may have to be careful with the way you approach the people you love with this, because some people may freak out, but just a good idea to start getting any kind of preparations you can together. I've got food preps, but I want to get more. If you're interested in that, I've got a great sponsor with a link below, My Patriot Supply, emergency food supplies. I would say check them out quick if you're into that. If you haven't done any kind of prepping, it's a good idea. They're running specials. And they were up to like 8 weeks till you got your food, but now it's all the way back down to 2, I believe. So check it out. Okay, if you're interested and if you want to get some kind of prep, or if not that, just go to a Dollar General or Walmart. Beans and rice, good idea. Things like this. Who knows? Look, I'm not trying to be a fear monger, but I also don't want to be a moron about things and have my head in the sand. So I'm right there down the line. I'm just kind of getting everything ready, prepared just in case. Working on getting some more ammunition as well, just in case. I don't want this, okay? But I'm also going to defend myself. I'm not going to go looking for trouble. But if we're going to be here through some really bad times, who knows what could happen? I watch a lot of crime shows. Very nice families that go to church every Sunday lose members in very violent, horrible, and disgusting ways. It happens to good people all the time. Good people get hurt. But I'm not going to be one that's just going to just give in to whatever and put my hands up. I'm going to defend mine. I'm going to defend my family and myself. If it comes to that, I hope it doesn't. None of us want to see that, but just it's happening right now all around America and other parts of the world. It's happening. People are being violently attacked and hurt and killed, and it's crazy. It's a Dr. Scott Jensen. He got in some trouble, and I'll let him explain what he did wrong.
Yeah, I do. Do I know who my accusers are? No, I don't get to know. Could I be disciplined by the Board of Medical Practice? Well, sure I can. There's 2 allegations they're investigating. If I have been spreading misinformation, then what about Governor Walz and the Department of Health? Right around March 1st, we had a Department of Health memo that talked about the purpose of, if you will, some of the measures that would be taken to dampen, delay, and decrease the peak, to allow the accumulation of PPE and make sure that our hospital capacities weren't being overwhelmed. In that memo, they say what the effective measures are. Cover your mouth. Don't go out if you have cough or fever. Avoid touching your face, your eyes, or mouth. Cover your mouth if you cough. Wash your hands frequently. Minimize outings. Socially distance. But what did they say were not effective measures? They said wearing masks is not effective. Taking antibiotics is not effective. A month later, Governor Walz comes out, talks about 74,000 Minnesotans dying. Later on, he went back to 29,000, and right around then, I put a different video out saying just the facts. And I said, I'm not buying 74,000 Minnesotans dying. I'm not buying 29,000. And then this one came out a month later, right around May 1st. This is a model that they're using. And it says on here, Minnesotans model projects nearly 1,000 deaths a day in mid-July. Well, folks, that's next week. So far, we have less than, right around 1,500, of which all but 300 of them have occurred in people in long-term care facilities, in large part because the Department of Health participated in decisions that put people with active COVID-19 disease in the nursing homes. And I'm spreading misinformation. Of course I am. I don't know what to tell you. I just know this is wrong. We're in a bad place. My wife asked me the other day, Scott, Why did 911 pull us together as Americans so much? And why is COVID-19 breaking us apart? I think physicians are part to blame. Scientists are. We've become so darn political. Physicians and scientists in the past are supposed to be above the fray. They're not. I have this odd set of hats I'm wearing because I'm the vice chair of the Health and Human Services Committee in the Senate, and I'm involved in policy discussions and involved in bills that deal with providing relief for COVID-19. And on the other hand, I've been a physician in the trenches for 35 years. So I try to connect the dots. I don't try to present myself to be something I'm not. I'm not an epidemiologist, but yes, I've taken epidemiology classes. I'm not an infectious disease doctor, but I take care of infectious disease every day. I just want to leave you with a couple of questions you could maybe ask yourself. Do we think it's okay for physicians to certify in death certificates that someone died of COVID-19, even if there was never a COVID-19 positive test obtained, even if there was never a COVID-19 test done, even if a COVID-19 test hadn't even been considered? And maybe the worst, even if the family had no clue that the death certificate they received for their loved one was going to say COVID-19. What do we want to be doing there? In Minnesota, I think the Department of Health is taking care of business. Those are important questions. I'm sure there are naysayers out there that think that I'm getting exactly what I deserve. Fine. If it can happen to me, I think, frankly, that it could happen to anybody. It feels ugly. It feels like some of the people that disagree with me don't want to have a conversation. I've asked many of you to have conversations and you've not been interested. So, reckless advice regarding comparisons between COVID-19 and the flu. Spreading misinformation because I cried foul when I received a memorandum.
And that's pretty much it. But you know what this is you will toe the line. We see so many stories like this. You will toe the line. It's like the couple painting over the BL plus M mural. Hate crimes, misdemeanors, 3. I'm actually kind of surprised it wasn't worse, but who knows? Maybe it will be. Well, they also got doxxed. So now they get that to deal with. And who knows who's going to come by their house 2 o'clock in the morning after a couple of sniffs and a couple of drinks looking for trouble. That's a scary thing. A lot of these people got to deal with that. It's freaky. And that's that spirit out there, man. Just that hive mind. Let's get their address out there. The other monsters will go find them. It's so devilish. It's gross. That's what this is, though. You will toe the line, Doc. You will not tell them the truth. You will not expose our deception. You will be punished. Yeah, here we go again. Epstein pimp Ghislaine Maxwell transferred to federal lockup in New York City. Ahead of court dates. Be interesting to see what happens. Arrested last Thursday morning by FBI. Now she faces 2 counts of conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal acts. 2 counts of conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 2 counts of perjury. I saw another story. I don't think I put it up here. Let's see here. It says, oh, that sounds safe. AG Bill Barr, you want to prevent another, quote, suicide on your watch? Like we're a third world country? Get Ghislaine on tape tonight. Don't wait. Get all her info now. I agree. It's another thing. Just first thing I thought of when I saw this. Where's all the amazing footage of the actual bust? Where's the perp walk? And wouldn't the FBI want to show something like this off? You would think, right? Wouldn't reporters want to be all over this? First to break the story, first to get the footage? Guess not. Guess not. Barely a peep. And we get a couple stories here and there in the news, but it's always old pictures. Never anything new. Makes me wonder what's really going on, of course. We'll see. This will be one to follow. But there was a story I'd seen where I guess the person who's been placed in charge of prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell was one of Obama's layovers. And the rumor I saw online, I can't verify this, maybe some of you guys can, is that the only times she's looking into Ghislaine's misbehavior with Epstein would be the years that she was good friends with one of the Trumps. It's like 4 years or so there. Maybe it was Ivanka. Not sure. I can't remember. It's just one of those blips I saw on the side news story sometime throughout the week. But maybe you guys can look that up and verify it. The prosecutor of Ghislaine, the lady looking into all this, is an Obama holdover. And apparently the rumor is that I saw that she's looking at just a few years period to prosecute, but only the years where she was involved with Trump or someone from the Trump family or something. That could just be an internet rumor. Who knows? But check it out. If you find out the truth on that, please let us know. I can't play this whole thing, so I won't, but I'll just report on it. On Sunday, July 5th, police officers from the 44th Precinct responded to a 911 call for a male shot at Sheridan Avenue, and it's just footage of a guy walking with his daughter. I can show you that much. Just on an afternoon, just walking. He gets halfway across. This car pulls up. This guy shoots this man. He falls over, and his child's little 6-year-old child just goes running through the streets screaming, not knowing what to do. So you can understand why I can't show you the footage. Just who knows what the context is there, but for all I know, it's random violence. I don't know, but still. But just terrible what people do, some of the things people do to each other. Tom Hanks says, don't be a PUSSY. Shame on you if you don't wear a mask. Boy, the tides have changed for Tom Hanks, haven't they? Go look up any kind of story on Tom Hanks. Look in the comment sections or video on Tom Hanks, and they're ripping him a new one. He's been exposed. His connection with the cabal, if you will, is out there, and people know it, and they see it, and they're not having it. I think that's great. He used to be America's sweetheart, remember? They're always selling him as the nicest man in Hollywood. Scrabble Players Association removes 236 offensive words. Again, here we go, guys. It's that they call it the cancel culture, but it's a removal of everything, of all knowledge, of all history, changing the words, changing the language, everything. It's madness. Madness. The North American Scrabble Players Association announced it's removing more than 200 words from the official list of words eligible for scoring in the word-building board game. The CEO of the association, John Chu, has been making the rounds with media outlets to explain the necessity to take action on issues of diversity and inclusivity. Gross. Okay, we get it. We already know. I already know the spirit in this guy. Right, there we have it. There you go, guys. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez mocks complaints about cancel culture. Of course she does, this demon. Let's see what she says. She took to Twitter on Thursday evening to mock complaints about cancel culture, one of the left's most potent weapons in the ongoing American culture war. The term refers to the practice of forcing people out of their jobs or otherwise ostracizing them because of their political opinions, usually conservative ones. President Trump took on the cancel culture directly in a speech at Mount Rushmore last week. A few days later, 150 left-wing intellectuals signed a letter in Harper's that criticized cancel culture on the left. Some ironically faced attempts at cancellation simply because they signed it. But to Ocasio-Cortez, complaints about cancel culture are merely the product of entitlement, as she argued on Twitter. People who are actually canceled don't get their thoughts published on amplified and major outlets. This has been a public service announcement, she said. Oh, this woman is so gross. The term cancel culture comes from entitlement, as though the person complaining has the right to a large captive audience and one is a victim if people... I can't even read her stuff. Just, we get it. Just defending their demonic tactics. Just wicked. Eminem mask shames, slams dirty cops, and says F. Drew Brees. He's not even relevant anymore, is he? And I was never into him myself. I've never been into rap anyway, personally. But hey, that's just me. All right, who really cares? But yeah, the master, he's just another part of the agenda, another part of that demonic hive mind. Yes, master, yes. Yes, I will mask shame them. Hey, I'll rap about it. Yeah, good slave. Yeah. Sheriff Grady Judd warned citizens to get a gun. All right, here we go.
Picking up a gun. Some local law enforcement leaders say you should be packing heat.
Fox 35's Brian Scott is here now with more on this bold suggestion. Brian?
Yeah, 3 sheriffs in the area are now standing together on this one, saying terrorists, active shooter, whatever the situation, they want citizens ready to step up.
If you're not afraid of a gun, get one.
The message from Polk County's top cop, crystal clear.
Become proficient. Get a concealed firearms license and carry it. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Sheriff Grady Judd's going public today with his response to attacks around the world and here at home, telling citizens they need to step up.
The armed assailant doesn't plan on you fighting back. He plans on having a gun, doing all the shooting, and you're just the sitting duck, where the ducks need to shoot back.
And if not a gun, something to defend yourself and those around you. A bold stance.
Be prepared to serve as the first line of defense.
Very similar to the one Brevard Sheriff Wayne Ivey went viral with 2 weeks ago. That video now up to nearly 500,000 views.
No matter who you are, what your position is on guns, there's no denying the fact that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun or a knife is an armed and well-prepared citizen or law enforcement officer.
And tonight, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is also stepping up. He tells me he backs Judd and Ivey on this one completely, adding, there's not enough police in America to stop all of these threats. Just one citizen stepping up, he says, could make the difference.
There you go. Telling it like it is, I'd say. Okay. It's a short clip, but just, I can't even show it, I don't think. It's just people fighting. Just more of that stupid stuff. Black versus brown, that time it was. Seattle cops have had enough. Love to see this. So this is the cops coming in on bikes. And I guess this is right after finally in Seattle, you know, we talked about it last week, maybe the week before, they finally cleaned it up. And this is one of the moments where some cops are coming in on bikes, and this is what happened.
Hands behind your back. Out! Hey, who are you? Stay back! Stay back! Hey, what back up? You ain't fucking young, dude. Let him go. Let him go. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What's your name?
What's your name, mate? Hey, go after you do the rest of it. Pigs, we're gonna get him out. He'll be right back. He will be right back, you dirty pigs. He will be right back. Oh, you dirty pigs. He'll be right back. We're gonna get him out. He'll be right back.
On the rainbow. It's a shame what this system's done to God's rainbow, huh?
You filthy pig. You dirty pork.
Dirty pork, this guy said. Okay, here is an anti-masker goes on rampage at Target. You know this is going to be good.
I've been looking forward to this shit all my fucking life. So, Target, I'm not playing any more fucking games. This shit's fucking over. This shit's all fucking over. This shit's fucking over. This shit's 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 over. Yay! This shit's over. Woo!
I wouldn't recommend doing that, even though I'm totally against the masks, but this lady's kind of loony, so keep watching.
Hey, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. We don't want any of this anymore. This is over. No. No. Dude, why? Why? You let everybody else do it. You let everybody else do it. Why can't I do it? Because I'm a blonde white woman? Fucking wearing a fucking $40,000 fucking Rolex. I don't have the fucking right to fuck shit up. I'm fucking. Jeez,
What are you gonna do, right?
Take it off. That's what I'm gonna do. Take it off. Take it off.
Okay, it's about it. She just keeps on going on her weird rampage here.
That's fine. I'll go fucking sit in my Range Rover. You think I care? I'm just too shaken up to drive, so.
But I thought this was interesting because it's a
Anybody
really
has
wealthy lady doing this,
So
just
this-
going nuts. She's got the Range Rover. She's got the nice watch.
That's the one. The fucking chosen one. Savior of the Jewish goddamn people.
Sure, maybe it's all for
Already
show. I
reversed.
don't know.
Yep.
But she's definitely a bit of a loon. People of all types are losing it.
Money, honey.
Okay, that's good. I can't handle much more of that, actually. My parents' friends went to get tested for crown virus. They waited in line for 2 hours and then decided to leave without getting tested. Hours later, they got a phone call saying they tested positive. They are lying about crown virus numbers in Texas. Quite disgusting. It's from Cambry Twitter thread I found.
COVID-19 cases has been distributed by the Department of State Health Services in Texas. In this document, you'll see that we have current case definitions. And prior to the new case status definition, a person must have a positive result for COVID-19. So therefore, this is sort of the person with COVID-19. All these people are not marked as COVID-19. So this is one confirmed case. They do a new case definition where they include people with close contact or confirmed probable cases. And then you go down to sort of how they are defining probable cases. It can be people that are in close contact and have symptoms. So basically, there are now 15 different options for a person to be classified as a probable case. And the new probable case definition basically has this person as well as all of these other people. So total cases, 17. 1 confirmed, 16 probable. Are public health agencies deliberately manipulating data to inflate cases and cause hysteria? It sure seems that way. Definitions for designating.
Sure does, doesn't it? But try telling some of these people that. Putin mocks U.S. Embassy rainbow flag. Maybe later. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday mocked a rainbow LGBT pride flag hung from the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Wow, there you go. It's the way we're being represented there, too. All around. Obama, the first gay president, they said. During a televised video conference, a lawmaker told, in more ways than one, really. That's one of the tough ones as well for some people, is that Michelle is Michael Robinson. For some reason, that's just a big paradigm breaker for a lot of people, of course. During a televised video conference, a lawmaker told Putin that the U.S. Embassy had hung a rainbow flag on its facade for the first time to celebrate Pride Month in June. Who works in this building? Putin asked the speaker. He was told Americans. Putin said, let them celebrate. They've shown a certain something about the people who work there, he added with a smile. Oh, so he would get just ripped over the coals in America for that if he was an American politician, right? Over the coals. All right, let's see what else he says. Putin on Friday signed amendments to the Constitution backed by a national vote that include a clause on marriage being between a man and a woman aimed at preventing legalization of gay unions. The president said Friday, however, that Russia does not discriminate against people on the basis of sexual orientation. He said a law banning promotion of homosexual relationships to minors, which he signed in 2013, to a storm of international condemnation aimed simply to prevent the foisting of such relationships on children. The law has been used as a pretext to ban gay pride events. Let a person grow up, become an adult, and decide his own path himself. You just shouldn't impose anything, Putin insisted. He said that those who attack us on this basis are just trying to break down an open door. That's a part of the inverted world we're in. In Russia, they're making sense. This makes sense. But in America, it's the inversion. It's a mirror world. He said that those who attack us on this basis are just trying to break down an open door. A conservative politician who heads the Union of Women of Russia warned Putin that billboards were using rainbow imagery to sell ice cream. Okay, whatever. Oh, this is that BLM lady covering over the BL plus M. Starbucks, this is just, to me, sickening. A Starbucks barista received nearly $80,000 in tips after being singled out for refusing to serve a customer not wearing a mask. So this is, now they're rewarded. We reward them. You're a good slave. You did well. A Starbucks barista received nearly $80,000 in tips after being singled out for refusing to serve a customer not wearing a mask. Wow. Good slave. A Starbucks barista who is publicly shamed by a customer after asking her to wear a face mask has received all this money. Lennon Gutierrez, 24, was working his usual shift at a San Diego Starbucks on a Monday morning when a woman who was not wearing a mask, oh my gosh, I'm getting scared, walked in and attempted to place an order. Gutierrez asked her if she had a face mask, but before he was even able to show her company guidelines requiring customers to wear one, the woman flipped him off and started cursing up a storm, he said. Then the customer took a photo of him. Meet Lennon from Starbucks, who refused to serve me because I'm not wearing a mask. Next time I'll wait for cops and bring a medical exemption, she wrote in a post, which was accompanied by a photo of Gutierrez wearing the mask. She did not immediately respond to CNN, so I don't even know this CNN story. Ugh. Okay. Rather than generate more backlash towards Gutierrez, her Facebook post actually led to an outpouring of support for the barista. There we go. I don't want to read anymore. Good slave, wear your mask. Colin Kaepernick calls Independence Day a celebration of white supremacy and rejects it because black people have been dehumanized, brutalized, criminalized, and terrorized in the U.S. for centuries. I've always hated watching sports. I've considered it a blessing. But then I'm okay being by myself. But I've always hated watching sports. I like UFC fights. That's about it. And I'm glad I've always hated watching sports. Because what purpose are they serving now? How can anybody with a conscience watch any sports now with all the stuff they're about to do? All the changes they're making? And it's all agenda driven. That's the sad part. I mean, I know a lot of people who love watching sports. Most people I know do. It's a nice escape. I get it. But now you can't even just turn your brain off for a couple hours and watch a good game. You're going to be preached to. There'll be messages. You're going to learn your lesson. Okay? And that's just the way it's going to be. More of this. More of this. Trouble a-brewing. Camps dividing. And more of this. The racial war they've been fanning the flames on for so long. This is an armed company called NFAC, Not Effing Around Coalition Militia, in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and they're calling out rednecks to face them on the field.
That don't mean shit to us. Y'all been threatening us since Birmingham. I ain't seen shit. When is July the 4th? And all you scary ass Negroes that pass that shit around. Look at what the fuck you did. You made blacks come out. I don't see no white militia. So to the boogie boys, the 3%ers, and all the rest of these scared ass rednecks, we here. Where the fuck you at? We in your house. Let's go. NFAC, motherfucker. NFAC.
What's cool is that when they defund a lot of these police departments, that most likely you'll probably have community groups, quote unquote, like this, who'll be policing your streets.
Threat, counter threat. Fuck you at? We in your house. Let's go. NFAC, motherfucker.
All right, there's another one down here. It's all races, all people, because it's not about your color. It's about what's inside you. A lot of people have darkness within. All different colors, all different types of people, men, women, children. Some have darkness within. And this is a time where that hive mind, I believe, is rising. And we keep finding elements of that all over, different pieces of this puzzle. But it's all the same hive mind. It's all rising up. And it wants to steal, kill, and destroy. That's all it wants. Baltimore protesters pulled down statue of Christopher Columbus and threw it into the city's inner harbor. Just sharing that. Gun owner used pepper spray on an attacker, still got charged with assault. Oof. All right. Don't even want to read the whole thing, but let's see if there's a little. There we go. It's an 11-minute long video, so I can't play the whole thing, but anyway, we get it. We understand. It's one of those things you got to watch out for now. Better not defend yourself. You got that already. You may have heard about this. Kanye West is running for president of the United States 2020. This will be interesting. We'll see how this plays out. Why not? I mean, why not? Throw him in. I don't even know if he can legally actually do it. I'm not sure. But apparently a lot of people are mad because they think he's going to steal votes from Biden. But we're beyond votes now. We've been beyond votes for a long time. But now it's all just coming out. You know, the truth of it all, of all the lies and deception with it. As I said earlier, November is going to be interesting. They're already putting out that narrative that Biden's going to contest the results no matter what, or that Trump would contest the results. I just got to close out some of these tabs, these things I was looking at earlier. All right, let's jump over to this. Penn State deletes tweet welcoming conservative students after an outcry. Again, it's not just about the right or they're coming after conservatives. I mean, it's us. It's Christians. It's people who love Christ, who have Christ, who love God. That's ultimately what all this is coming. It's coming for. It's us. Right now, it's still in that framework, the old framework of red and blue and left and right, but that's all being dismantled and falling apart. Earlier, we discussed the formal censuring of a conservative at Georgetown for his criticism of BL+M. Now at Penn State, the university took an important step in this time of rising intolerance and actually included conservative students in a welcoming message. It didn't last. After an outcry from students, the university deleted the tweet, thereby sending precisely the opposite message to conservative students. Penn State University put out a tweet affirming the inclusive environment of the school that included welcoming messages for a wide variety of student groups, including a line stating, "Dear conservative students, your viewpoints are important." Nice. Students reacted with outrage at the notion of expressly welcoming conservative students to campus. For example, the student newspaper reported the student Cassandra Nunez said the experiences of conservative students and students of color cannot be presented as equal in any way. I don't need to read the rest. We understand it's that spirit, man. It's just everything's being pulled apart. Everything's being ripped to shreds. Here we go. Let's watch a little of this.
The less I understand.
It's on Sydney Watson YouTube channel. I'll just play a little bit, but let's see here.
At this point, I am pretty tired of hearing about white supremacy and white nationalism and all the problems with whiteness. You name it, there's an academic flim-flam term for it. And at this point, regardless if you're black or white, if you are a conservative, according to the basement-dwelling radical leftists, we're all Edward Norton from American History X, because nothing they do or say ever makes any sense. So today we're going to be talking about anti-white rhetoric again, because it's basically never ending at this stage. I mean, if we're being totally honest, it sort of feels like everyone is being told day in and day out just how bad whiteness is and how racist white people are. And you know, we also can't escape this inbuilt sense of racism that we have. Thanks. I hate it. No, seriously, we're at a point where we're being told that being colorblind is one of the worst things in the world.
I don't see color is one of the most dangerous things you can say.
And just because you don't claim to see race doesn't mean racism is suddenly going to disappear. This isn't a game of peekaboo. By ignoring race, you're both dismissing racial issues in America and trivializing this nation's history of using race as a means to leverage power.
Yes. I don't get it. Some of you might even remember such episodes as, "Can my children be friends with white people? Robots are racist. Why does the US military celebrate white supremacy? The whiteness of Toy Story 4 and animals with white fur are also racist." And truthfully, all of this gets very tiresome after a while. But something that I find so irritating across the board is how everything and anything gets linked back to white supremacy and white nationalism, even when it doesn't make any logical sense, which it often doesn't. Even here in the US, for the 4th of July, there were plenty of commentators saying that Independence Day is a celebration of white supremacy and white men, even pointing to the fact that 2 of the presidents on Mount Rushmore have a history of slavery, and now it's a no-go zone.
And so here we are, celebrating the birth of a nation, independence for white men.
I don't know, black lady on TV. Kind of seems like you're pretty independent to me. Sydney, do you want to get banned off of this platform? No. Okay then, you drink your tea quietly now and you give that nice lady her oppression points. But it seems that this narrative arises no matter where we are in the world. A lot of you know that I grew up in Australia, and we actually have to put up with this as well every single year, where people try to connect Australia Day, our national holiday, to genocide and murder. And of course, that shocks no one. But nevertheless, we're repeatedly told just how racist our countries are because they don't have enough non-white people in television or media or whatever. I mean, in this case, Australia is around 90% white, so of course you're going to see more white people on TV. We're the majority population. My emotional reaction to reading a lot of this is just, what? And hearing this kind of rhetoric day in, day out rolls us around to some pretty strained racial tensions. And some of this rhetoric is getting so stupid, you're going to want to pull your hair out. But before you do that, don't do that, because then you might miss the sponsor of today's video.
Okay, that's
So
it.
Sharky.
We got it. We got it. Got it. UFO sighting, July 6th, 2020. Good one, I think. Not sure what to think of it, though. I think it's a good one, but I don't know what to think of it, is what I'm trying to say. You'll see. It'll all make sense in just a moment. I'll skip around a little bit. It's like 5 minutes long. But there's some really good captures here of, I believe it's shape-shifting right before our very eyes. You'll see. Oh, they play a lot of music in it, too. It's one of those that, which is old school. I have nothing against that. That's old school, good, creepy sides of YouTube. You'd find a lot of videos. I've done a lot of them in the past on my channel, so I know. With just interesting footage and the music the old way. So many of those channels are gone now. It's sad. YouTube really, obviously, has changed just so much. Anyway, this one's dropping orbs. Interesting. Now this one's really, really crazy. It looks like an eye in the sky, doesn't it? But then I believe it starts shape-shifting a bit itself here. I mean, that really looks like an eye up in the sky. Okay. If that's real, that is... Let's see if I can find some of this without the music. Okay, here's where it starts changing shapes, multiplying, changing colors. It's crazy. Trying to find some without the music. There isn't. All right, it's all got the music in it. Let me just do this. Turn the music off and just watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this because in the background you can hear the people talking, the people that originally filmed this, saying, "Wow, it's beautiful," and everything else. They're speaking English. So I'll have to follow up on this and figure out who the original uploader is and maybe just see the whole thing. Because it literally looks like a massive eye, doesn't it? Look at the sides there, how an eye is. Looks like it has veins on the side of it. See? Isn't that weird? Look at that. That is just... All right. So that's a good one for me. I'm not sure what it is. It's on Random Interesting Clips, UFO Sightings 2020, posted July 6th, 2020. Good one. California security guard accused of bang, hurting a man with a gun in a fight over wearing a mask. This is 9 hours ago. Have you guys heard about this? It's happened in Los Angeles. Security guard at a market has been charged with murder after authorities say he shot and killed a man during a fight over wearing a mask. The DA in LA says Mr. Hawkins is charged with murder in the death of Jerry Lewis, 50, of Gardena, California, in a shooting on July 5th. Hawkins' wife, Sabrina Carter, 50, has been charged with possession of a handgun by a felon. Police tell the San Jose Mercury News that Lewis entered the Green Farm Market at about 7 p.m. Lewis was waiting for a tow truck because his car had 2 flat tires. Hawkins reportedly told Lewis he was required to wear a mask in the market, and the men began arguing. Lewis left, but then returned and again began arguing with Hawkins. Carter reportedly pulled out a handgun and pointed it at Lewis, which caused Lewis to walk away. However, police say Hawkins, who was also armed, followed Lewis outside the market and shot him. Hawkins is being held in jail on a $1 million bond, while Carter is being held on $35,000 bond. Wow. Whew. There we go, guys. That mask, again, it's about that division. It's dividing, creating more madness. You can't see a smile with a mask on, right? You can't have your 6 foot social distance. Can't get your hugs. Can't hold your hands. Can't shake your hands. Head of Emergency Management says Texans should wear masks inside their own homes. I mean, seriously, man. Unbelievable, with a straight face. Watch this.
We still need people to keep social distance and isolation. Ryan, the one thing I want to try to get across today is we need to do that when we're in our homes also. As you know, I'm a lifelong San Antonian, grew up there, worked there for many years, and I know how many multi-generational families that we have. And while we believe the community is doing a great job of following the rules when they're outside of the home, we really need to be thinking about doing the same thing when we're inside the home.
Idiocracy, guys. Seriously. It's idiocracy. Honk, honk. Wearing your mask inside your home. Okay, be a good slave. And make sure in your house you're social distancing. Yep, even you married couples. Student invokes Satan to drive conservative group from campus. And these are the kind of stories I've been watching more for, is more of all of this stuff to start manifesting full on into the Satanism and more of the images of Satan and Baphomet and the statues and everything else. It's the spirit behind it all, and it has to come out. Everything's coming out. That's why I'm waiting on it. Student activists are demanding that a Texas public university remove a conservative group from campus and have even invoked Satan witch rituals to aid the campaign. Students at the University of North Texas created a change.org petition calling for the removal of the school's Young Conservatives of Texas chapter for hateful actions. The petition, signed by the UNT College Democrats, of course, the multicultural group MOEV and the queer alliance group GLAD, claims the conservatives harassed LGBT groups and multicultural organizations. One activist took the campaign a step further by performing satanic witch rituals against the group's female leader. I mean, the real warfare, they see even that. We're in spiritual warfare now, but even now we're seeing it manifest. So many stories of these witches. I've done some videos on this. And even the witches doing spells, they're doing spells for Putin in Russia, and then they're doing spells against Trump in America. It's crazy. We get it. We get it. Look at that. Yeah, that's it. It says witches against Kelly Neidert. Intentions of misfortune, not physical harm. Hex racists. And look at this. There you go. That's what's behind all of the chaos, destruction, the fires, the shootings, the parents losing children, all of it, all the chaos. Goya Foods must not bend to cancel culture over CEO's praise of President Trump. Just another one of those cancel stories. This CEO of Goya said something good about Trump, and of course he's being canceled. There you go. Didn't even have to read it. Major League Baseball saturates social media with Black Lives Matter posts. More about that. I told you, man. You're not going to be able to just turn your brain off and watch sports and enjoy it anymore. You're going to have messages. I'm sure there'll be commercials teaching you lessons as well. Pro baseball escaped from much of the anthem kneeling controversies in 2016 and 2017 by steering clear of wokeness for the most part. But that seems to be coming to an end if the league's Twitter account is any indication of where baseball is headed. MLB's Twitter feed is filled with paeans, I don't know what that means, to Black Lives Matter that have been given the MLB endorsement with official posts and retweets, while the league had some that took a knee during the anthem over the years since former NFL player Colin Kaepernick began protesting. Protests largely went unobserved in baseball, but if the league's Twitter account can be taken as indicative of the league's direction, MLB may be signaling that kneeling during the anthem will be accepted and maybe even encouraged going forward. And this is some of the stuff from MLB's Twitter. And you can just see it's more of this and this. Yeah, there you go, guys. You can't even enjoy your sports anymore. Okay? You're going to have to be taught your lessons. This is the way that everybody needs to think. Okay? That's it. That's right. Maybe I got a good friend that collects baseball cards and all kinds of cards. It's been one of my best friends forever. And I wonder, maybe they'll start making baseball cards with these social messages like this. There we go. How's that? How's that going to work out for everybody? Really nice. Now, you're not going to be able to enjoy anything. The system's collapsing, turning into something else. And fence sitters aren't going to be able to sit on the fence anymore either. Everyone will have to make the choice. It's still pretty easy to do right now, but there's coming a time. Doxed on social media for Trump support, Kirkland homeowner films vandals. So here's another one with the doxing. It's you putting your personal information out, finding out who you are, and then getting it out on Twitter, Instagram, mainly Twitter, wherever else you can, and doxing these people, getting their personal information out, sending out the alert. Okay, creeps, monsters, psychopaths, weirdos. All right, here's the address. All right, here's their names. It's where they work, the phone numbers. Go get them. Go get them. It's sick. And people just, they do it like that. They just don't even care, man. All right, we got it. Pretty short story. A Kirkland resident named Jed Darland joined the Todd Herman show on Thursday to explain the bizarre attacks his household has undergone after he planted some flowers in a pattern that read MAGA. Jed explained that a woman decided he should not be allowed to express his views. She stopped, got images of the flowers, and placed them on social media along with directions telling people how they could get to his house. Soon, a series of attacks began and escalated into what Jed describes as a crazy chase in Kirkland. Hear the full interview on the Todd Herman show, which is 19 minutes. I can't play the whole thing, but I wonder what this is. Oh, okay. Short footage of them running. Let's see here what it sounds like. Maybe we'll listen to a little bit.
Businesses are open and the left and leftist things. And
okay, let's
then there's
see.
This thing I see all the time, coexist.
We did hit her with the garden hose and have them take care of this. This needs to be ripped out at night. This needs to be burnt down. It got a little bit disturbing. And what's interesting is when you read through the...
If you didn't know, this is the homeowner that was doxxed after he did this, made a MAGA flower thing. Some kids didn't like it, took pictures, put it on social media with directions to his house, and this is him talking. So let's check some of this out.
Comments of her post, she's aware of what she was doing, because she does respond and she's active on the post. But she decides, even once the Kirkland Municipal Code is posted online and the administrator of the group explains that it's legal, including there's a city council member that posted on there that says that it's within the law.
All right, so we've gone from planting of flowers to a woman coming by your home, taking a picture because she's so triggered and so offended that you've expressed yourself at your home. And she posts your address, a description of your house, and basically how to get there. We've gone now to threats to use weed whackers on your property, let's send Antifa. And this woman she knows what she started. She's not stopping anything. We get girls coming in cars at night to destroy the flowers, and the police are involved. But Jed, you said in Kirkland this was your first occurrence. So there's more.
Yeah, that was just the first occurrence. Todd, you're not going to believe this. So, as soon as the police arrived, and got photos of the damage, I quickly pieced back the garden. Of course, when you rip out newly planted flowers, it's unlikely that they're going to survive, at least not in the way that they would have had they been undisturbed. I take great care in gardening. I am an avid gardener, and so these flowers get deadheaded every day and watered and fertilized. So, for me, I knew that this wasn't the last occurrence, and so I wanted to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. I wanted to make the poster aware of what she was doing in an effort to maybe convince her to take down the post. But, I'm all for freedom of speech. So if she decided that she wanted to leave it up, that was for her. The administrator in the group had removed several comments that identified the house. So like a gentleman that I am, I decided to deliver a poem and some flowers.
All right, I'm done with that. It's too much to get through. We'll just keep moving. Social distancing patrols record 26,000 incidents on Spanish beaches in 1 week. Social distancing patrols is the takeaway here. Social distancing patrols. Soon to a neighborhood near you. I can see it in my town now. I mentioned earlier they're making everybody wear a mask. Everybody. I ain't doing it. I'm shopping outside this town. Hoping to get totally out of all this. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Change has to come, though. At least 8,000 of the infringements were recorded just in the municipality of Malaga, the Olive Press reports. Some 55 beaches were closed during the weekend after reaching maximum capacity. Okay, just more of this madness. Now it's social distancing patrols. Jackson's Woke City Council votes to remove statue of 7th president. Washington State suggests schools give priority to non-white students during reopening. More of that division. Mayor apologizes for a sign that says the safety of all lives matter. So he got canceled. See, he got in trouble for that. He says, I have just been made aware that the following traffic sign is being displayed on Main Street. I have ordered that it be taken down immediately and am taking steps to find out how this happened. I apologize to the residents of Melrose for having common sense. The safety of all lives matter. It's true. But there you go. That's the world we're in. Man arrested after allegedly pointing gun at Walgreens customer for not wearing a mask. More of the mask madness. The Purge programming people. Mask. Put on mask. Be a psychopath. You can't see them smiling when they're wearing the masks. New York Times falsely blames churches for huge spike in the crown virus cases. Yep. Twitter flags video of Chinese Cultural Revolution as sensitive content. I told you they're going full on, guys. It's full bore ahead. When Marion Smith, the executive director of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, tweeted a video last week showing the destruction of China's history and culture under tyrant Mao Zedong, Twitter hid the video, claiming it contained, quote, sensitive content. There you go, man. There you go, guys. Full bore ahead. Full bore. It's not going to slow down. Multiple spotlights. This is recorded in Ukraine. Actually, we may have seen this one. I know I've seen this type. Let's watch this and see. No, this is a new one for me. But this is another one of those anomalies we've seen a lot of, is these multiple lights in the sky. The ones I've seen that we've shown here on the show, a lot of times they're moving, sometimes synchronized, then they'll break apart.
Вон, там повыше что-то вообще голубое двигается. Видите?
Oh, look at that.
Приблизь.
Я не знаю. Нет, она чересчур идет этой самой.
Такое чувство, будто
Ну, какое-то.
Maybe that'll be the arrival, one of the ways that they come all around the world when it shows up. That's one of the Illuminati card game cards. Still haven't played it yet, but there's plenty of predictive programming around that idea of the alien saviors. Aliens coming to save us. Okay, there you go. That's a pretty good one. Let's move on to the next. This is on Disclosed Screen, the Grim Reefar YouTube channel. 3 recent paranormal events cut on camera. Let's see here.
Last year I went for a bad family breakdown of my legit videos and what.
I'm going to go and bypass this one. I didn't get that one set up before. And this is from Hidden Underbelly 2.0. Let's check this out. Looks like they capture some kind of a mist. I'll find the footage.
Why Marching?
So let's take a look at it, and we'll talk about it afterwards. So as you can see, this gray.
It's a pretty good one. Let's go back here and watch this one.
So first thing about this footage. So let's take a look at the footage, and we'll talk
Here you
about
go.
it afterwards. So first thing about this footage is
Oh, that's cool. Watch. Look at that. You see it come in and just like swings right towards the camera. Yeesh. It looks like the upper torso of something, doesn't it? Starts manifesting there and then coming in. And then it's, wow, it's got the tail, not an actual tail, but kind of that mist trailing behind it. Armada of black UFOs. Let's check this out.
Que merda é essa? Não é pássaro não, hein?
Wow, look at that.
Que estranho, olha o que é. Ok. Olha rápido. Olha rápido. Não consigo ver, então.
We've seen that in a lot of the UFO footage we've seen throughout the years. It looks like they're coming in and they're going out. They're coming in and going out of this dimension.
Tem monte de quadrado assim, tô vendo. Olha em cima quanto tem mais. Tem muita coisa. Olha aqui no celular, tô filmando aqui, ó. Porque tem um monstro aqui pelo celular. Vem ver. Olha aqui. Aí. Olha ele tá em cima agora. Passando agora por trás do prédio. Tem um triângulo bem lá do alto. Eu tô vendo. É muita coisa. Tá sumindo agora. Mas se você olhar pra cima tem mais. Bem, eu tô vendo um monte aqui pelo celular.
Weird, huh? Ah, that's a good one. Good capture. All right, moving on. Wisconsin man targeting a white person killed motorcyclist, prosecutors say. Don't even want to read the story, just more of that. The division is working. The programming is working on people when I see these stories. Satanic temple threatens to sue Mississippi if In God We Trust ends up on the state flag. I told you more of those stories. Been looking for more of this stuff to come out. Straight up satanic, right in our face. It's been hidden through all these other groups and people for so long, but it's one of the last secrets to be revealed, isn't it? It's that secret that a lot of us already know, that we're in that system. All right, it's not going to let me read it without covering that thing up, but I'm going to save this story, and I'm sure I'll include that in something in the future. Oh, this is more of that Kanye West stuff. He's saying they want to put chips inside us. And of course, the mainstream is saying he cites debunked anti-vaccine conspiracy theories. Well, either way, excuse me, we know the vaccines are going to be a part of something. Will it be the actual mark? We'll see. And then thoughts on Kanye West anyway. I see him as a bit of an infiltrator. I did a video on him a while back. I think he still carries that spirit with him. We'll see. I still have an open mind, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. And he does proclaim Christ a lot. But you got to watch what they do, right? You got to watch the actions. You can't just pay attention to the words. He performed at Joel Osteen's church in the center of an all-seeing eye. It's hard for me to forget stuff like that. Here's something I was going to throw out to you guys. I've used this website many times in the past called Now the End Begins. And many of you are probably familiar with it. If you're not, I highly recommend it. They cover a lot of the stories. Some of the stories we do, they'll go more in depth, and it's always biblically based. So you may want to check that out. Anyway, now they're in trouble, it looks like. This is from July 3rd. Now the End Begins has been deemed a threat to the Brazilian Air Force and is blocked for extremism. Can you believe this? An NTEB reader in Brazil who works for the FAB, the Brazilian Air Force, was shocked to find out this morning when they went to see the news on Now the End Begins that our site has been blocked by the military on charges of extremism, and access was denied to them. And this is how it is going to go, people. We are looking at the future. If NTEB is now deemed a threat to the Brazilian Air Force, what does that tell you? It tells you our window of opportunity to preach and teach the gospel of the grace of God is closing, so you better get busy. Here in America, the radical left is erasing history at an astonishing rate, with their eyes fixed firmly on the real target, the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and Bill of Rights. Free speech cannot and will not be tolerated in the coming days in which the church age will come to a close, into the fourth age, then Aquarian, and the church will be removed in the pre-tribulation rapture. But before we go, as I have told you for years now, prepare to see strange and astonishing things you never thought possible. Maybe you're on the sidelines in all this. Maybe you think these things are baseless conspiracy theory. But guess what? You may not be in the game, but the game is coming for you at an astonishing rate of speed. There will be no escape. Neutrality will not be allowed, just like I believe. So you better decide now whose side you're on and get in the game. What do the social distancing rules make us do? We have to stand 6 apart on all 6 sides. 6 to the front, 6 to the side, and 6 to the back. 6, 6, 6 in every direction. Do you get it yet? I love it. Trump, defund radical left university, orders review of tax exempt states. I would love to see that. That'd be great. It's a little late now, but it still needs to be done. But we'll see. We'll see. Nancy Pelosi calls for national face mask mandate. We're long overdue, of course, guys. It's the mask and the 666 social distancing. CDC update, C19 death rate predicted to be less than 1%. Very important. I'm going to remove. I'm going to save again so it's at the top. There you go. Good one. Virginia College may nix WASP mascot fearing tie to white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Honk honk. That's all I can say. California Governor Newsom now banning singing in churches. Can you believe that? It's from July 3rd. Banning singing in churches. Yes, you heard that. Because I told you, ultimately, it's us. That's what this is all about. It's those who have Christ, those who have God. That's what this system's coming for. And I believe it'll become even more apparent as time goes on. That's the Kanye West. Oh, this is another mask video here, I believe. Yeah. This is a woman at the dentist.
It's about the safety from all of our. I'll cover my mouth. Can I go be seated now? No, because you're not filling out the forms or letting us take your temperature. It's about protecting our. You can't take my temperature. That's against the law. All right. Well, I can't. You're not an MD. We're not allowed to. No, I have a right to sue you for harassing me, the manager, and this entire company, Smile, whatever you call it, dental. I do have that right, and I talked to my attorney before I came here too. Okay. So does he want that to happen? I've waited long enough for my teeth to be cleaned, okay? Let's get this done, okay? They're telling me I can't see you. Who's there? The owner of the practice. I want to hear him. Get him on the phone. He has to send me in written writing, so I want to see your policy. You shouldn't be in the building without a mask either. I can do what I want. I'm free. It's not a law. It's not a law. This is a medical law. No, a dental office.
Yep. Yep. More of that to come. And of course, it seems to be more of it'll be violent, unfortunately. People are already losing their lives over this mask nonsense. Governor Beshear announces 333. I just want to share the number, of course. One of my videos I did about a month ago was about the numbers and the 33 surrounding the crown virus. There you have it. Governor Beshear. Excuse me. And he's also issuing a mask mandate for Kentucky effective today. It went into place at 5 p.m. There you go. Same hive mind. Woman shoots person robbing her home. Now the robber's family is irate at the woman. So more of these stories where better not defend yourself, better not stand up, better not try to fight back. You will be punished. Supreme Court says Eastern Oklahoma remains Native American territory. This is huge. It's so big. I'm still just kind of waiting to see what happens and how everything falls into place before trying to connect this in any way to what's happening. But one thing I do know is, maybe you haven't heard about this. I'll read a little bit. Supreme Court ruled Thursday that the eastern half, that's a whole half of a state, okay, of Oklahoma can be considered Native American territory, a decision the state warned could create civil, criminal, and regulatory turmoil. But you still made the decision. Thanks, guys. So, gee, what side are they on? The 5-4 decision was written by Associate Justice Neil Garouche and joined by the court's 4 liberal justices. The justices considered the issue for the second time after failing to decide a different case last year when Garouche was recused and the court likely deadlocked. Listen to this. The case concerned an appeal from Jimcy McGirt, a Native American who claimed his state rape conviction from 1997 should be overturned because Oklahoma lacked jurisdiction. Congress, his lawyer Ian Gershergon said, never properly terminated the reservation. And that's how they got it off. During the oral arguments in May, the justices reached back to 1907 to determine whether Congress, using imprecise language, failed to disestablish the 1866 boundaries of the reservation. If so, virtually half of Oklahoma, home to 1.8 million residents, and including Tulsa, where Trump recently held his rally, would remain subject to federal criminal laws. Well, they did it, and it's really creepy as this guy raped a child. So They just gave half of my home state away. I'm from Oklahoma. They just gave half of my home state away to try to fight for a guy that raped a child. Am I reading this wrong? I don't think so. Anyway, there you go, guys. Honk, honk. Welcome to the circus. Next up, conversion therapy. The new left says you're a bigot unless you have sex with every gender. There you go. You'll even be forced into this, it seems. Have sex with every gender. Every gender. They're getting you ready for the trans. White Lives Matter painted on road in California town. All right, whatever. Florida man fired from insurance firm after Costco mask outburst. I think there's a video here. Yeah, this is it.
You're harassing me. I'm not harassing you. You're coming close. You're coming close. Back off! Threaten me again! Back the off with your phone down. You're coming close. You're coming close. Back off! Threaten me again!
And that's exactly what the system wanted. This is exactly what the masks and everything else, all a part of it. They want the division. They want people going nuts, turning against each other. I can't quote the scripture, but it's a time just like this. Lawlessness, people rushing to wickedness, people thinking evil thoughts constantly, people turning against each other, loved ones, family, friends, and just a spirit of hate and anger and maliciousness. It's running wild. People are refusing mandatory orders to wear masks on flights, and it's causing mayhem with other passengers. Yeah, the masks. You can't see them smile. This is a message from Floyd Hicks. He's a veteran, and this is his message to BL plus M.
Matter. Let it be known, millions of us Americans know, Antifa, you're fascist. Black Lives Matter, you're Marxist. You don't give a damn about the black people. All you two anarchistic organizations care about is achieving destruction of America. Well, it won't work. You have awakened the patriots of America. There are many, many of us. We're a very powerful force, as you will see if you continue upon the path upon which you're walking. We're Christians, we love God, we love our country, and we love our police. And we will do anything and everything to defend, protect, and lift them up. You've attacked our police. You've attacked our country. Regardless of our history, we do have a history, and you will not destroy it. You topple all of our monuments. You politicians, you turn my stomach, you democratic and radical leftist socialistic scum, you House representatives. All you crave is power, money, and control over our lives. Well, you will not get it. You will pay in the ballot box. You former politicians that exhort the young people to keep protesting for change. Well, there will be a change, all right. Once again, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, you will be knocked down. We're Christians. We're all Americans. Black, white, it does not matter our color. We all bleed red. We all bleed red, white, and blue. We are patriots. You've awakened the wrong people to awaken. The American people are waking up. You destroyed.
It's the sleeping minority. It's what, or majority, sorry. It's the sleeping majority, it's called. They may wake up too late, we'll see. Or just in time for battle. This is the Biden rally in Pennsylvania. Look at the size of that crowd. He just asked people to come inside because he thought it was raining. Look at this. But the news I see, my local news, almost every night, Trump trailing Biden by over 12%. Now double digits. Biden in the lead by double digits. You know you can't trust the numbers, right? You know you can't trust the polls. It's all a show. November's going to be unlike anything we've seen before. Guarantee it. We already see the signs. It's going to be interesting. Pray, though. I pray for safety, for no chaos, this and that. Although, I know that chaos has to come. I know destruction has to come. But still got to pray for the people, pray for your loved ones. But the news tells us that Biden's going to be the president, and they might actually do that. They could very well do it. They could take Trump totally out. I don't know how. There's so many different ways. I'm sure they can come up with it. As I told you, they're going full bore ahead. No more of this hiding stuff or smiling on camera and then, stabbing you in the back and none of that stuff. No, it's full on. That spirit's manifesting and people are going crazy. But we aren't. Unknown pneumonia deadlier than crown virus sweeping Kazakhstan, Chinese embassy warns. Just one I'm watching because it's Kazakhstan. And that's where Illuminati capital is in Astana, which is one of the most interesting places in the world. If you've ever seen pictures of that place, it's fascinating. It was nothing but just a very, very small farming village, very few people, and now looks like something out of a futuristic movie from 100 years from now, 50 years from now. It's really crazy, but lots of satanic Illuminati type symbolism all throughout. Army handout suggesting Trump's MAGA slogan is considered covert white supremacy, and that's from an Army handout. So some people have also suggested that the military may actually escort Trump out or take Trump out. Who knows? I mean, I'm open for it all. Hey, we're watching the show, and who knows? We'll see. But there's still some people that think that that Trump's some kind of a savior and that he's going to pull us out of this. And it's like that the guy, he calls himself Prophet Mark Taylor, I think is his name. And I've watched him a few times, and I don't think he's a bad guy or anything. It's just sometimes I have a hard time with the information and their angle. Although I am a positive person. I like to think positively, and I like to think that good can triumph evil. But it just sometimes it just doesn't kind of match up sometimes for me. That's just me. Maybe you have a different view of it. But he's always with this, trust the plan with Trump, and he's going to make it through, and God's definitely working through him, and all that stuff. There's a lot of people that believe that, and they're going for that, and a lot of people in that Q stuff. And I've never been in that Q stuff. Some of the information that came out of there has been good and interesting, but not much, for me. That's just been kind of my take on it. But anywho, it's the World Health Organization. They're saying COVID's not even contagious. Here, I'll just play a little bit of this.
Actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
I didn't quite get that. Can I hear that one more time? I'm serious. I could not tell what you just said.
From the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
Still didn't quite get that, but
that's it. That's all you needed to hear. And just more of the truth, but it's being hidden. We don't ever hear that in the mainstream, do we?
Doing a temperature check, which is...
And now there's this right here. This is Illinois defines C-19 death, but listen to what he says, though.
It takes a moment to do.
I have a question from a colleague. Michelle Gallardo from ABC7 wants to know, earlier this week, the state reported the death of a teenager in Cook County. Are you familiar with this case? If so, is this the state's first teenage death? And can you tell us if the teenager in question had underlying conditions?
I don't have that information at my disposal at this time.
Temperature check, which is, takes a moment to do.
I have a question from a colleague, Michelle.
Oh, well, sorry, man. I don't really know. What was I trying to show you on here? Let's see if they say anything down here. People need to wake up with how they're acquiring numbers and how it's different from any other time. We've never recorded pneumonia as a cause of death for cancer. We also have at least 2 months of presumptive positives and then 1 month of CDC's first faulty test. I think it was just more evidence of just them fudging numbers. That's all that is. It's the last story as well, which is fine. We almost did 3 hours. And I'll tell you, if you haven't noticed over the last few shows or a few live shows I've done, I've had a lot of trouble getting the full show uploaded in any decent amount of time. I mean, like they may tonight upload, I don't know, a couple hours, maybe 2.5 hours, and it'll be that way for 24 to 48 hours. Then you'll get the full upload. So speaking on that, another thing I'm looking at here in the future, very near future, I may be doing, I've already secretly created a Discord account, but I'm not making it live yet or anything like that because I have no idea how to work it. But I'm going to try to figure it out, and I may start doing my shows from Discord if I can and connect it to YouTube. Y'all can still watch it here or there, I think. I think that's how it works. And that way I'd be on their server, and maybe that would change. Maybe I'd get my full upload on YouTube. You know, I'm not sure on time. But anyway, enough about me and my rambling. Hey, I just looked at the chat. Hi, guys. We got a great amount of people here tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us, man. I appreciate you. Big shout out, of course, to the moderators. My PayPal and Patreon supporters, guys, thank you so much. All of my links are below if you want to check anything out. Got a new Roku channel if you want to watch me on Roku. All my links to other social media as well, so please check it out. Emergency food supplies as well. And that's that, man. I like to end these shows on a prayer, if you don't mind. So quickly, I'll just say, Heavenly Father, it has been overwhelming personally for me, and you know this in our own talks, but just seeing everything and how fast it's all coming. And just pray that you help us to maintain in these days and to not get overwhelmed by everything, to still stay watching and waiting and telling the others, but stay in a good state of mind, stay at peace with everything that's coming and to understand the context of it, and for us to fully understand how this has to play out. And there's not much we can do about it ourselves, you know, to be able to relent that to you. Father, help us with that too, please. So but whatever we can do, I pray you guide us each individually and help us all to help others in any way we can. Spread the message of you in any way we can. And on that note, Lord, thank you very much. And I love you. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, guys, thank you. I know I don't always, I feel like I don't do the best prayers. I just kind of, I know they can be kind of short and to the point, but that's just me. I'm not used to praying in public. You all know that if you followed me for a long time, I didn't do it for most of my time on YouTube, but I've just definitely felt the necessity over the last few years, or maybe just over the last year, that it's more important now than ever. Anyway, all right, guys. Hey, thank you once again. Much love to you all. More content coming this week. I got a new video almost done, probably up by Monday, maybe Tuesday. Another live show next week, and then next Friday, another KJ's What Happened. Until then, take care, man. Stay sane, all right? It's okay. The good guys win in the end.